Hello and welcome to the Gaming Ken podcast. As always, I'm your host Jack, and with me is your other host Mark.
Hello.
And this is our Halloween episode because we are recording this the 30th of October, the day before Halloween, on a Tuesday rather than Saturday because, you know, Halloween, the Saturday before Halloween is Halloween parties. And I don't have enough friends to go to one, but Mark certainly has enough to get invited out.
What way to put it? So much booze, so much regret.
I'm going out next Saturday, so
Because he can afford it, and I cannot.
Yeah, because it's like 3 days after payday.
Oh, shut up.
Anyway, yeah. So since it's Halloween tomorrow, we thought our topic should be an open discussion of horror games or games that are just generally scary.
Yeah, that's just going to be very varied. Because one of us is a shite bag who cannot handle his horror games.
That's not a nice thing to say about me.
I was meaning me, but fair enough.
But we don't have a specific area of focus on it. This is an open discussion, so you will get to hear everything we think about horror games in general.
Yes, it's going to be an open discussion about a genre of games which neither of us really play, but we both know a wee bit about.
Yeah, that's about right.
So basically, you know, it's going to be a best kind of discussion.
Yeah. Well, I'll start because the one thing that puts me off horror games a lot of the time. No, I often find a lot of them dead boring. Is because
shocking.
Because a lot of them rely on jump scares, and jump scares don't get me. You know,
really,
I'm accustomed to jump scares. You know, it's been the main trope of horror games since 3D graphics.
It's been trope of horror for years and years and years and years, even before 3D.
Yeah, but you know, it's I don't know. It's just I don't like jump scares because they don't work, right? I really like a psychological intense horror. You know, I like something where every time you turn a corner, you're shitting yourself in case, you know, there's something there. For example, Slender.
Yet to play that. I've heard good things, but fuck that, man.
It is definitely, like, I have a fond memory involving Slender. I was working, and I was going out to a friend's house, and they went, right, just come on in, and just come straight into the house, don't chap the door or anything, just walk in. So done that, all the lights in the house were out, they were all sitting in the room playing Slender, and I fell over something and bashed my head against the door, and I just heard all of them scream. And it was so funny.
You utter knob.
It's not my fault. I tripped over a broom, okay?
You tripped over a broom.
Yeah, the lights were out, and I couldn't see it.
Were you like 70s slapstick?
Yeah.
Fuck trips over a broom.
Someone who can't see the broom handle sticking out across the fucking floor.
Excuses.
But yeah, that's one of my fond memories of it. Because, I mean, Slender does have a wee bit of jump scares where Slender Man appears out of nowhere. But the thing is, it's psychological as well, because as you get nearer to where Slender Man is, you kind of start hearing static. And you've got to collect like the 8 pages and then escape. And as you collect the 8 pages, the music starts to intensify. So there's no music. You get the first one and then it's really quiet, just like a gong every couple of minutes. And then you start getting a kind of piano thing, and then it builds up and builds up. But it's all really, really kind of creepy sounding. And then when you start getting the static over it, you start shitting yourself, going, oh fuck, where is he? We've got to get away. And then you run into him. It's not like he just pops up on the screen. He's just round that corner, you run into him. Because you're not, like, in Slender, you're not allowed to look at Slender Man Otherwise, it's game over. So you can be as close to Slender Man as you like, as long as you're not looking at him. You know?
Huh. No, that's not going to work.
Although, obviously, like, if you, like, move backwards into Slender Man, that counts as, you know...
Shockingly, yeah.
Because it's like, he's touched you, that's it, right? But if you get too close looking at him, that's it, game over. So, because it's not... So there is a kind of element of jump scares there, because he can just appear out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more psychological, because generally it's when you hear the static and you start running for your life in the game, and then you run around a corner and he's there.
Yeah.
That's it. It's not like Five Nights at Freddy's, where you look away from the tablet and then all of a sudden it's in your face. Built that way to, you know, it's built that way to scare you. It's not a jump scare. It's you've ran into him,
Mm-hmm.
and because you weren't expecting it, because you were too busy trying to get away, it makes you shit yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I really like those psychological ones. Like I'm thinking, I've got a game for VR called Here They Lie,
Okay.
psychological horror game, and it looks so good. I'm thinking about playing it tomorrow night.
Lights off, just quietly yourself.
Oh yes.
All your family's going to hear this, and you going, shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Scott.
The fear's getting to me already.
No, I'm still getting over that cold from about 4 weeks back.
Fuck's sake, man. Have a vegetable.
Have a vegetable?
Aye.
I eat enough bloody vegetables.
Lies.
I eat cheese and onion pasties all day at work. Onion is a vegetable.
No, I've just been cooked.
I have soup. I had tomato soup the other day for my dinner. Then I had pea and ham soup last night for my dinner. And was it carrot and coriander the night before?
Okay, now that's proper vegetables, not like sipped or pastied.
I sit and just munch vegetables sometimes.
Who does that?
Me.
You just pure
'Cause I'm
pop a
weird.
carrot?
Yeah, just go to the kitchen, peel a carrot and munch it.
Oof.
I'll do it with onions as if it's a fucking apple. Turnip. Leek.
There's something so wrong with you.
I get hungry and can't be bothered cooking, so I just eat veggies raw. They're better for you when they're raw anyway.
Well, that's what I was trying to get at, but still. Ugh. Jeez.
It's like having a salad, but all
One at a
separate.
time.
Yeah, one at a time. Having them all separate.
You fucking weirdo. Fucking peeling onions going, here we go. Ugh. No.
The best one was I bought a block of cheese and an onion.
You didn't.
And just
Nah.
nom.
Nah, don't buy it. There's no way you sat and ate a block of cheese and an onion.
Like I said, too lazy to cook.
There's laziness and there's even nasty ass levels beyond my imagining. And that's saying something.
To be fair, I had been drinking a fair amount beforehand.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that.
That's why I don't do daytime drinking anymore.
Fucking hell. Why'd you stop daytime drinking? That got really fucking weird.
Yeah. But no, there are other horror games that you know, well, they're not really horror games,
Mm-hmm.
but they do have aspects of horror games, like for example, like Bloodborne.
Yep.
Where the like kind of end of area bosses are often the kind of things you would expect to see in nightmares.
Yeah, like eldritch demons and shit.
Yeah. I really like how they implement that into a non-horror game. Although the setting is very creepy and the story is quite creepy and all that, it's not a proper horror game. It's a kind of action RPG hack and slash kind of game.
Yeah, but I suppose its core element is the horror aspect, though. It's not just difficult gameplay. It's the monster format will make you go like kind of unnerved. It's the same with Dark Souls and that kind of shit.
Yeah. Any of those style of games, even Neo, or that new one that we were talking about, Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice.
Yeah,
we were talking about that the other week. You know, even games like that, because they're kind of the Soulsborne genre.
Yeah, except that from what I can say of that, it looks less like it's the pushing the horror aspect and more the supernatural aspect, which are
Yeah,
completely different feels.
it still has that kind of creepy feel at times where it could be kind of horror-ish though.
I wouldn't say as much though. Like I think it's because the subject matter is so very different.
Yeah, I do feel like kind of it's not. It's kind of on that borderline. It's not quite crossed the line. It's just on that borderline of it.
I can kind of get what you're saying, so yeah, I'll give you that.
It's close enough that you could say it, but it's not
It's
entirely
not
true.
Yeah,
It's partly true.
You can fudge it a bit, yeah.
It would be really down to your personal perspective and threshold for fear.
Oh yeah, definitely. So
Um,
if you're with like me, I'll probably think some of it's quite often.
yeah. But yeah, definitely like psychological horror games are I definitely feel they're better. I seen a trailer for one yesterday,
Okay.
and it's called The Forest, and it's a kind of horror survival. Well, horror survival. That's the wrong way around. Survival horror game, set in the forest,
Wow.
and it looks so good. My little brother is 8, right,
Mhm.
and he wants it's not even my brother that wants it, it's my sister who's 12.
Mhm.
She wants that for her Christmas, and we were like, no. But then in a different conversation, me and my other sister were like, that looks like a fantastic game for VR. I would love to play that in VR. It looks really scary, and it looks like it would be fantastic in VR.
Mhm.
Because it's a survival horror. You've got to fight off these undead, zombie, spidery looking things.
Undead zombie spiders.
Yeah,
Eh.
it looks kind of somewhere between a zombie and a spider. It's a zombie with like 4 arms. It's like what you call them from Dead Space.
Oh yeah. Can't remember if I fucking called.
And they've got like the 4 extremities.
See, I wouldn't mind killing those things so much, but if you say zombies, you're making me think of like dead folk.
But it's kind of like some of them have kind of humany faces.
Human is not the same as human.
Oh no, I mean they've got human faces that have
Oh.
been like zombified, degraded, and all that. And then they've got like the 4 extremities that come out of the whatever they're called in Dead Space.
Yeah, I can't remember what you fucking call them.
I keep wanting to call them xenomorphs, but that's alien.
What's fair? I don't know if aliens.
Necromorphs. Is that what they're called? I think
It does ring a bell.
that sounds right to me.
Go for necromorphs. I'd still argue it's basically the same thing as alien life forms.
Yeah, but you've got those, and it looks so fantastic.
Mhm.
Like, it would, especially if it had VR compatibility,
Mhm.
because you don't really have guns in it. You defend yourself with things like axes, 2x4s, and knives, and things like that.
Oh,
It's very, very,
arm swingy.
yeah.
Fuck.
So I would like to see that as a VR game. 'Cause I think horror games in VR would be a lot better than playing a horror game on a TV, because it's so it's a lot more immersive, especially like with the 360
Mhm.
and being able to look up and down. And when I say that, you can do that on games on a telly using the
It's
right
not the same.
stick, but it's that way. Like, if you're playing a horror game and then you if you're playing any game in VR, like
Mhm.
when you turn your head, the whole thing moves with you,
Yeah.
and it's that you can choose how quick or slow you turn a lot more effectively than you can with the stick. Because obviously, the further along you push the stick, the faster it goes. But you can move. It has a lot more sensitivity to it, and
Mhm.
I think that would be really cool. Especially if you've got the feeling something's coming up behind you, and you just slowly start looking round, and I think it would be fantastic.
It's just one of those game genres where it can be a massive hit and a miss. Sometimes if it relies too much on one technique, this can
Yeah.
kill it.
I would love to see a horror game that brings in all the different methods of fear in
Mhm.
games. It would have some psychological horror, it would have a survival aspect. It would even jump scares, like having them in as well, and all of it, the tension and it would be fantastic, especially in VR. I've be- I've noticed that I've become a much bigger proponent of VR since I got VR.
Shocking,
I've
that
noticed
seems to be
this.
how it works.
I was a big proponent of the Switch, even more so now that I've got a Switch.
Well,
you
there
know.
you go.
But yeah, horror games are like I do enjoy a good horror game,
Mm-hmm.
but it has to be a psychological horror game. Because you've got like Resident Evil and Silent Hill, the classic survival horror games.
I wouldn't even count them as horror, like survival anymore. I'd just go RPGs and be done with it.
Yeah, but like the original ones were survival horror games.
Yeah, I can see that.
They were the benchmark for horror games, and like you had a jump scare in Resident Evil, like, and that was the dogs jumping through the window
All right.
because it was a fixed camera.
Ah.
So when you were in that corridor where that happens, you came in at the screen and then you were walking away from the screen, and then they jump in, and then you shoot yourself because you got to turn around and shoot them, and because you're not, like, the first time you play it, you're not expecting it at all.
Mm-hmm.
You're expecting the window just to be, just an art asset.
Yeah, part of the scene
that's not interactable with anything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but then you've got like, I think it was Resident Evil 3, maybe 4. I don't know. You had like the alternate stories.
All right.
Where you could play, like, after you complete the game, you can then play the game as Hunk.
Hunk.
Yep, Hunk. And if you complete it as Hunk, you then get to play it again as Tofu.
Oh, for fuck.
Yes, exactly. Like, you've got to complete crazy amounts of conditions to unlock that. Like, I think you've got to get like a super fast time, losing minimal health with minimal weapons, and taking the direct route through the game without going any exploring or anything. But still, it was there. And it made the game so much harder as well. Like, because even though by this point you knew exactly what to expect with playing as Tofu really, it was like an unofficial hard mode, really.
Ah, right.
Because it was a lot more difficult. But I mean, you could complete the game in about 3 minutes as Tofu. But fighting back against the mutated, I can never remember what they're called. I just know they're affected by the T virus in Resident Evil, but I don't know the official term for them. But no, I think it's the infected, right? Go for that. But fighting against the infected is a lot more difficult with Tofu, because in the other versions you can use guns, you can use various weapons. As Tofu, you only have a knife.
Oh, fuck that.
Exactly.
No, fuck no.
So yeah, it's like the unofficial hard mode of a horror game, or a survival horror game, and it does make it harder and scarier, because even though you know what's coming up, you only have a knife, so it's either stab them with a knife or run, and if you run, they can still follow you. So, it wasn't the same type of horror playing it as Tofu. It was a lot more psychological, because you're like, do I run? Do I fight? And then it's like, when I run, how far do I run before I fight them? Can I lose them?
Yeah.
And you have less health, obviously, being a giant human-sized block of tofu. You've got less health and all that. So it was really quite cool.
Fuck's sake.
I've noticed, obviously, with games like The Surge, Dead by Daylight, and Friday 13th, there's a lot more asynchronous horror games, like asynchronous multiplayer games. So it's like the 5-on-1 aspect.
Alright, gotcha.
Like, I've not been playing many of them. I know you've played Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, fuck that game. Essentially is my main takeaway from that. Played both sides, and honestly, it's just one of those games that you're really into it, which is cool, or you hate it, which is me. So, yeah, pretty much.
yeah, I've not really played any of them. I've never been into the idea of the asynchronous multiplayer genre.
Especially when you get like a proper team, in which case it's not even fun because it's literally you as a bad guy trying to take down all the campers and that, but it's like they're already friends.
Yeah,
We can literally talk to each other and properly plan as opposed to just 5 people who like don't care about each other, so they'll go and do their own thing.
yeah,
It's not fun. It's fucking upsetting. 'Cause you're like, seriously, 3 years I've went out, you used to know what you're just taking the piss now. Fucking no, like fuck off. Go.
I've not played any of them. I keep thinking, it's not my kind of game. I don't like that style of game, but maybe I should still give it a try, just so I can. If anyone
say you've tried it and don't like it.
No, not even that. Like, so that if people ask me, what's that game like? Other than me going, I don't know, I don't like that kind of game, I've not played it, I can go, well, it's shit, but...
Don't get me wrong, right? Graphically it's fine. It's great at setting a good tone. The monsters you can play as are really well thought out. They've all got their own specific weaponry and stuff, all specific movesets. Some you'll be amazing with, some you'll look at and go, why were you ever created, you pile of shit? And it's quite cool just unlocking everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason I got it is because naturally, with any proper horror game nowadays, they'll come in with DLC bits, which will be your representations of classic horror icons or actually have them. So for me, I seen Freddy on it, so I was like, oh. But I was like, okay, first I'll play the game for a bit, see if I like it, before I actually spend additional money.
Obviously.
Yeah. And I couldn't, I hated it.
Aye.
So I never bothered getting Freddy, even though I'm like, it's Freddy. But I'd rather not get him, rather spend money, and then be shit with him. And just be like, so much money gone, why? But yeah, I'd rather not know and spend money, basically.
And I think, like, as we've been getting further up the generations of consoles and stuff, we've seen horror games evolve as well.
Yeah.
So, for example, Silent Hill, you have the fog.
Yeah.
That was because, it was so hard to render such a big game, and the PlayStation, in a way that it would have a decent loading time. You could build a game that big in the PlayStation. We've seen it happen, but it was always really slow to load because it had to load everything, and it meant they could bring back the draw distance by having all this fog. And as we got, because now we're on the PS4, we're 23 years away from that now. I don't know, the PlayStation came out in 95. This is 2018. So, yeah, 23 years. And,
Christ, that's a long time ago.
When I went back and played Silent Hill, and it was so hard to play because, the controls were less sensitive and they were a bit more janky.
Yeah. What happens with all older remotes and that?
It's an older game. That kind of naturally happens, but not having that draw distance just felt really weird. You notice it in other games. It's not just like horror games. You noticed it in like Final Fantasy VII as you were running through the open world, through the overworld even. Things would just kind of start popping up in the horizon. They wouldn't slowly fade in. They would just get to a point where it was like draw distance, and they would appear. But they appeared like a fair amount away in the horizon, and they got bigger as you got closer to them. But they just appeared. They didn't fade in or anything. And now we're getting to this point where draw distances are getting so far in games that you can see miles and miles and miles away, and it can enhance horror games as well. Because you've got the Friday the 13th game. I've not seen a lot of it. I've not played a lot of it, but a lot of the because you're obviously in the forest around Camp Crystal Lake, and when you get to the lake, you can see right across the lake, but you can't see, and you can see how deep the forest is.
Mm-hmm.
You can't see through the forest, but and obviously it's too much to animate the whole forest unless you can go through the whole forest.
Yeah.
But you can get an idea of how deep the forest is and all that. It's really, really quite cool. Slenderman, the Slender game, you had a fairly decent draw distance, but only when you had the flashlight on.
Ah, okay, yeah.
When you had the flashlight off, it was pitch black,
Mm-hmm.
and you had a draw distance roughly about the same as that of Silent Hill's The Fog.
Mm-hmm.
So as technology gets more advanced, they find new ways to make they find new ways to go with that.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not just doing what Silent Hill did with The Fog and having a pure short draw distance to build up the atmosphere. They are making so much more open, the world so much more open with these longer draw distances, but they're still managing, especially with psychological horror games, to maintain that psychological side of the horror where you don't know where things are.
Yeah.
Which is really, really quite cool. I like seeing things like this evolve and how they change over time, and I'm really excited to see where things like this go next. Because I've been mentioning VR a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Another great thing with VR is 3D sound. So if you've got your back to something, you're going to hear it quieter than if you're facing it.
Yeah.
And if it's on one side rather than the other, you hear it more in one ear than the other, and that really builds up the tension, because if you hear something on your left, you look over at your left and there's nothing there, that's when you kind of start shitting yourself.
Yeah.
So I'm really quite enjoying the whole 3D sound aspect of it as well, because sound can make up a lot of specifically a psychological horror game.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just, even if it's just dead silent and you just kind of, you just hear something off in the distance, that's, you kind of start to go, oh, what was that? And then it just ramps up and ramps up as you think you're getting closer to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's fantastic just seeing how they're incorporating so many different parts of the game into horror as well, rather than just making it all about how scared can we make someone. It's how long can we keep the person scared, and how many ways in which can we do that. So you've got like seeing shadows run past you, the hearing noises. I'm pretty sure if we had things like full body suits that you could wear in VR, they would have like sensations of like the cold running down your spine, or
exactly what I was thinking.
Something just brushing against you somewhere.
The best one's always going to be one that goes, I just felt something crawl across my foot.
Yeah,
that's the one thing you just end up going, fuck this.
So I'm excited to see how this gets, how it evolves, and how more ways they can scare us, especially as technology gets more advanced.
Mm.
I can't wait.
Well, for me, the horror always comes from the narrative more than the depiction.
Well, that's
like the best way to make someone scared is to make a good story.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like psychological horror.
Well, not even that. Psychological horror can be done with a shit story as long as they do it correctly.
Yeah, true.
I mean, for instance, take a Stephen King novel.
Yeah.
Largely granddaddy of horror. The best way he does it is he makes it relatable.
Yeah.
You cannot make someone scared of something they can't relate to. For instance, like, when it comes to, say, like, the Alien movies, for instance, when they first came out, largely what made people scared was the idea of it being unknown. The aliens being, obviously, an unknown quantity. No one knows what to expect. So, like, for instance, when it first pops out the guy's chest,
yeah,
the first iteration of the alien, everyone's like, what the actual fuck is that?
I love Alien.
Definitely. But largely the reason that was such a hit as well is because it was an unknown enemy and unknown quarters, and that's what made it scary. It's not even a good story as such. It's because largely it's a standard story.
Yeah.
Hero versus effectively the dragon. I mean, it's a knight versus dragon that's old as fucking time. All it did is eat new skin. However, if you get a psychological thriller like one of King's, like for instance, Finner.
Yeah.
You've watched that, yeah?
I've not watched it, no. Like I've not watched a lot of psychological horror movies. I don't watch a lot of movies in general.
Okay.
Most of the ones I watch are fantasy or sci-fi.
Yeah.
Things like the Star Trek movies, Star Wars.
Yes, you're a big nerd, but yeah.
Yeah.
Basic premise of Finner is, spoilers to anyone who's not read it, but then again, it's old as fuck, and if you've not seen a TV adaptation, come on now. Don't be Jack. Basic premise is a big fat guy, bit of an asshole, doesn't give a fuck about anyone else except himself. Driving along one day, knocks down a young girl. She is part of a local like Indian tribe. Sorry, no, what do they call them again?
Native American.
Native American.
Actually,
Sorry.
I believe it's technically okay to call them Indian.
Okay, well, yeah, okay. But anyway, the guy ends up going to the funeral, tries to pay respects, but he's actually cursed by, I think it's a grandfather. It's by simply kind of rubbing kind of like some animal blood in his forehead or some shit and saying Finner, and it's meant to be. Well, sounds a lot scarier when he does put it that way. Anyway, over the course of the movie, no matter how much a guy eats, he keeps losing weight. And at first, it's great, big fat guy loses weight, it's a fucking dream. Till like 3/4 of the movie through, he starts wasting away. Cue the fear factor. This idea of just fucking consumerism flipping its head. Guy's wasting away, can't do anything because he's basically fucked in our race of folk. I'm not gonna give the last twist away because it's a fucking doozy of a twist. What I will say though is, whole point of horror is all down to the story. You don't have a good story, don't have a good premise. It doesn't matter how many jump scares. It doesn't matter how cool a monster is. Because eventually, it becomes a fucking creature feature.
Yeah.
And as much as I love a good creature feature, if you're not going to make me scared, what's the point?
Yeah, I think the most recent psychological horror I watched was probably Zodiac.
Why does that ring a bell?
Because it's based on a true life story of the Zodiac killer.
Yeah.
And before that it was Silence of the Lambs, obviously classic.
I was going to try the noise, but I can't be fucked. I'd probably fuck off anyway.
Hello, Clarice.
I say the noise, you give me the line.
I can't do I can't do it.
I want to try it, but I can do it. I'm just going to end up fucking spitting in the mic.
But I love the in joke and that, because he's meant to be on this medication.
Was it kidney medication or heart medication?
Antidepressants.
Oh yeah. No,
it's MOAIs, and he talks about how he had the postman's liver with white wine and fava beans, and none of the not white wine, Chianti and fava beans, and you can't have red wine, fava beans, or liver when you're on these antidepressants. So it was an in joke about that. Although Chianti is just the Hollywood version of it. The actual book, it's Valpolicella.
None of it means anything to me anyway. So
it's another Italian red wine, but different wines have different properties, and they go different with with different foods differently. And with something fatty, you don't want something a heavy red wine like a Chianti. You want something a bit lighter.
Yeah, like
a Valpolicella. See, I studied wine. I studied a lot of things.
Ladies, he's not just a gamer geek. He knows his shit in wine as well.
I never use half of it, but no, because I studied sound engineering. I only really use it for this podcast. I don't use it.
He's multi-talented and he's raring to go.
I don't use it in my day-to-day life. I know how to build a computer. Well, I used to know how to build a computer. It's all changed now. It's not changed that much that I couldn't do it, but I still need a wee bit of help here and there to do it. I studied science, I studied technology, I studied engineering. Can't use bloody any of it. I'm actually thinking about going back to, starting a course with Open University doing STEM.
I'd agree, but again, cost fucking tons.
Yeah, no, but it's something I'm really interested in. I'm not doing it to get a job out of it or change jobs or anything. It's just something I'm really interested in. I would love to study more into it. For anyone who doesn't know, STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Thanks, I didn't know.
Did you not?
I'm gonna I hope he explains this, otherwise it's gonna get a bit awkward later on.
I thought you already knew what STEM was.
I probably could have, no, I probably wouldn't have figured it out.
Most STEM courses come with a teaching aspect as well.
Mm-hmm.
Science teachers, techie teachers, and math teachers mostly.
Mm-hmm.
But I would also love to study more social science as well, because the science in STEM is chemistry, physics, biology.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I'd also love to study things like geography and history, religion, psychology, sociology, things like that.
Well, social sciences outside of Glasgow, I can fully recommend as a happy alumni from them. Just repping my college, yo.
I went to Cardonald to study sound engineering.
Mm.
It was fantastic. I done my hires at Cumbernauld College. I'd done English, psychology, sociology, and it was all right.
It was alright, I did the business.
No, the problem was that because I was doing my hires again, and I'd done my hires at 26. I'd done my hires when I was 15 originally, and I failed them all.
That sounds a bit young.
5th year.
You sure?
So, no, I was 16. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you. Because I'm like, my little brother's 16. He's just gone into 5th year, and you're like, no, I did them all in 4th year. I was like, well, fuck. No.
Sorry, I was 16 when I done them.
So
10 years later, I went and done them again.
I get you.
Well, I say done them again. I done English again, and I done 2 new hires. So it was so different to what I remembered it being. But I done the same thing that I did in high school.
You fucked about?
No. I was top in my class. Well, maybe not the top of my class, but I was near the top of my class. Was always doing well in the mock exams and all that. And then final exam, choked. I screwed up the final exam. Like my English exam, for example, I had to write an essay on a poem.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote about The Tiger by William Blake. It's a fantastic poem.
Never read it, but go on.
Well, we're meant to talk about, imagery and structure, and I really quite enjoyed this poem, so I done a wee bit more digging, and I found out what book it was from and all of that, and I found out the background of the poem.
I can see where this is going already, you utter well-meaning knob.
What do you think I did?
Right, okay, just to clarify, I'm not a best graduate, but I did graduate with English literature. Not a best grade, I am well aware. However, one of the few things you learn is, as well-meaning as your intentions are to make a good essay, which probably was, if it doesn't answer the question, it's useless. So if we're asking for imagery and such, they want imagery and such. They could be very intrigued and interested in your background information, but if it doesn't answer the question, it's not necessary. So if you spent the majority of your time talking about background information, where it originally came from, the reasons behind the poem, why it was important, that's awesome. But unless you get to the point of the imagery that was interesting and why it was interesting was this, then I can imagine that's why you fucked it.
You're so close, but so far at the same time.
I'm very intrigued. Go ahead.
I didn't write that much about the background of it. I looked into the background of it because I was so interested in it, and I found out that William Blake, at the time of writing the book, the poems in the book that it's from, the book is called Songs of Innocence and Experience. It was the time he was disillusioned with the Church of England, and it turned into a half English, half theology essay, where what they wanted was imagery in a secular fashion.
Yeah, and you.
Whereas I went with what the imagery actually fucking meant, and I got a fail.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
My dad's watching Merlin. That's probably what you can hear.
Dude, that's so fucking cool. Because I knew that tune, I was like, Yaldi, that's awesome. Your dad's so cool. That's awesome. I don't know what episode and season it's in.
Oh, he's watching it on Sci-Fi, and I think they're about season 4.
Nice. Oh. Sorry, I'm a pure Merlin geek. I love that fucking show.
It's a good show.
What's one of my favorite? Actually, it was probably my favorite interpretation of the King Arthur stories. Because as much as I wanted the King Arthur movie to be epic, no.
I
didn't think so. It could have been, but no. And there's going to be a new one next year as well, and I'm already disgusted by it, and I don't want him to do it. Anyway, sorry. I love that tune. I was like, what was it?
Yeah. So I.
Oh yeah, you asked for specific examples in a specific way, but you kind of curved it.
I didn't go towards what the SQA counted as the answer. I counted towards what the answer actually is.
Yeah, but they can only mark to a certain degree, especially in college. And in uni, yeah, they could probably work around it and be like, yeah, okay, this would work. But college is a lot more regimented.
I don't even care. I only picked English anyway, so I would have 3 courses to do. I didn't actually care about English. It was psychology and sociology I was interested in. And I had a conditional for, after I got in, I applied for another course, which was a PDA in Christian youth work.
Oh, fair enough.
And, actually I applied for 2 courses, one that I knew I could get into, and one that was debatable depending on my results at college, and the other one was a bachelor's degree in theology.
All right, Jesus.
I got a conditional for both of them. I met the conditions for one, but still got accepted for both. But I took the one that I met the conditions for, which was my PDA in youth work. And yeah, because that was like a 6-month course, and my church paid for the course, and I'd done all of that. I got an EMA as well, so it was good. Got through all that. I got a PDA in youth work. But if I went for theology, I'd still be doing theology.
Yeah.
I'd still be doing that course because I'd be doing it part-time over 8 years.
No, it still could have been pretty cool. There's no way anyone could ever take that kind of thing away from you.
Yeah, but my philosophy psychology teacher actually read the essay that I wrote, went, fantastic essay, although it does border more theology than English. Answers the question perfectly, but not within a context of an English essay.
Which is the biggest thing, though.
Yeah.
I get both areas, though. That's why I can't really argue much. I'm like, it's right, but that's downside English. Well, when it comes to, discursive essays,
yeah,
you can curtail it the way you want.
The thing is, though, in technicality, theology is the study of language in a religious setting. So, for example, Christian theology, studying Christian theology, technically, in a roundabout way, is the study of English.
You have to use technically and in a roundabout way, one after the other. It just kind of pads out your idea of it's not, but I want it to be. Well,
no, it does, but it's not the sole focus, because it focuses on the history and everything like that as well. But part of it is the study of language, in an English-speaking person's case, English, in a Christian, just in a Christian setting. So, for example, the Bible. But it's also history. The history of Christianity, or sociology. Going back to what sociological factors were going back there. You can take virtually any subject, and say that theology is the study of that subject in a religious context. And then when you say Christian theology, then it's specifically Christianity, Muslim theology is specifically Islam, and but no, anyway, I don't know how long ago we got back on this topic, but we should probably get towards the news. Or back to the original topic at hand, unless we've got nothing to say about that.
What time are we
at? We're about 44 minutes in.
Again, sorry folks, this always happens. But I full-heartedly blame Jack.
I wholeheartedly blame myself as well.
Sound, at least we can agree on that. No, when it comes to horror games, like I said, I've got minimum experience. Like I said, for me, when it comes to a good horror story in general, be it movie, be it books, obvious, be it movie, be it game, it's down to the story. If a story can't create a scary enough setting, be it with location, be it with atmospherics, be it with the big bad himself or herself, then there's no point.
Yeah.
Like, part of the things that made the horror icons we grew up with so scary were the stories behind them.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like
Freddy, a child molester gets killed by the parents of town, and then comes back years later to kill the kids.
In their dreams.
The story is more scary than him at times.
Yeah. Freddy. Not Freddy. Jason. Died at the hand because of the negligence of the councils at Camp Crystal Lake. Comes back every year to wreak havoc with the new councillors at Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah, but even then, he's one of the few guys whose background gets altered almost in retrospect.
Yeah, he does get retconned, especially with Jason in space.
No, not even that. I mean, originally people were just kind of confused where he came from, because if I remember right, the first one was actually a mum going around doing it. And then he came back.
Yes, the first one was the mother.
Yeah, and then they apparently tweaked it to make him a deadite.
Yeah.
Pinhead.
Yep.
Yeah. Pinhead, I'm not going to lie, those guys...
Although I don't know if that's canon.
I'm not too sure, but it does make more sense in it now.
I'm pretty sure it's a fan theory that is very, very believed.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
And is to the point where it should be canon.
Yeah.
But no one has confirmed it's canon.
Maybe you need to look into it.
Maybe. Yeah. But not right now.
Yeah, not right now. The Deadites, admittedly, they're creepy enough on their own without any help, in all honesty. Fucking hell. Ugh. But then, obviously, you get the downside of a good story. If you get people adding to it over time, you ruin it.
Yeah.
And I'm only going to give one case because I don't want to put you on for ages. But in terms of horror franchisers, I watched a recent sequel to a movie that I originally thought was amazing, and it's been ruined for me utterly. And that is Jeepers Creepers.
I didn't know there was a sequel to that.
Right. There's 1, 2, and 3, right? 1 is a classic, it is well done, it is atmospheric, it's fucking terrifying, and its villain is legitimately just horrifying.
Yeah.
All of it, I just think it's one of those horror movies that you're like, yeah, this is memorable because it is so well done. 2 is not as good because they have to tweak certain things, but for me, I'd say it's still a classic. The third one, oh god, it's like they had a massive drop in budget. It affects everything. It's like a Sharknado. It's just so bad. The only good thing about it is the story, but because they didn't have the funds to keep the level of everything going, it drops.
Yeah.
So it starts out fucking high with the first one, drops a small bit in the second one, but I think it's because it's just a very different story. And the third one ties the two together, but because it's such a drop in quality, it ruins it so badly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's the only thing. It's basically, if you're going to make a horror franchise, be it game or movies, you need to keep the same feeling throughout. You cannot retcon it completely. I
mean, I've got nothing wrong with retconning things. It just depends on what you're retconning.
Yeah.
Like, if you retcon something major, then you gotta be super careful about it because you're going to piss off a lot of people. But see, if it's like really, really small things, like as long as you don't retcon too many of them at once, you're all good.
Like for instance, like if Jason does turn out to be a deadite,
that
just explains things. It doesn't ruin anything. You're just like, You know what? Yeah, okay.
Like,
Right.
one thing that I found was Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Every time they
Ooh.
remade that, it looked more and more and more like a B movie. Like, but at the same time, for some franchises, that's a bad thing.
Mhm.
For Freddy versus
You
I
bastard.
was about to say for Freddy versus Jason. No,
Don't get me
for
wrong, that's campy as fuck. I fucking loved it.
for Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday 13th is what I was trying to say.
Alright.
That's a bad thing because these are your big budget horror movies, where it's got to be the best production value.
Mm-hmm.
But with things like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right?
Actually,
It's Leatherface running around with a fucking chainsaw.
it works better, oddly enough.
Every time they remake it, it looks more and more like a Hammer House of Horror movie.
But even then, some of those are
And
fucking horrifying, man.
Those were I love Hammer House of Horror and I love horror B movies because the production values are so low that it still looks like a horror movie. They're usually still pretty scary,
Mm-hmm.
but they have more of a strange charm to them.
I'll give you that.
Because a lot of the horror B movies were more of a labour of love and a passion for making horror movies rather than, we just want to make something that's going to be fantastic at the box office. A lot more love goes into them than the big budget ones. I'm not saying that Wes Craven and Robert Englund didn't love working on Friday 13th.
Definitely.
Not Friday 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street even.
Oh, yeah, that's like...
But because they're not going to make as much money on a B movie,
Mm-hmm.
you really have to be more invested emotionally in the project than you do with a big budget movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because you do have to because a lot of people who working on those, they're not just actors, they're also director and sound engineer and
The makeup guys.
they make the props and they make everybody doesn't just do one role. They all chip into everything.
Mm-hmm.
So you do really have to want to do that project rather than just go, there's a decent paycheck at the end, because generally with a B movie there's not. So yeah, I like the way that some franchises do kind of go down in quality, because it does make them feel more right.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I wouldn't like to see that happen with like Freddy or Jason. It would just be weird.
Well, I'll give you some examples of it just so you can get an idea. Like, if you compare, say, the original Freddy... I don't know what you said now as well. It's not Freddy. If you compare the original Nightmare on Elm Street, right, with one of the new remakes for it, the original probably cost half as much, right?
Oh yeah.
But for me personally, I still think it's fucking more terrifying.
Oh yeah. Having a bigger budget isn't always a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Having a smaller budget isn't always a good thing, because the bigger the budget you have, the more you want to use all of that budget.
Mm-hmm.
Because you want to have the best special effects, the best makeup, the best props, the best writers, actors, director, producers, sound and lighting guys, and all of that. You want to have the best of the best of the best of the best that you can afford.
Yeah.
Whereas the less money you have, the more you are going to have to think strategically. And if you sink too much money into something, you do risk ruining it with overproduction.
Definitely. I mean,
and you see that with a lot of, like, not just movies but games as well. You see that with a lot of in TV shows as well. Like, for example, we were talking before we started this podcast about Top Gear.
Yeah. And
then we were talking about, like, I was saying, when I say Top Gear, I really mean Grand Tour now, because if it's not Hammond, May, and Clarkson, it's not Top Gear.
Yeah.
And then you were saying it's not the same.
Because it's not. It's completely different.
But, like, they've got a bigger budget.
Doesn't mean it's the same.
And, like, because I can't remember, because they put something out. I think the budget for one episode of the Grand Tour is the equivalent to one season of Top Gear.
See, I think the issue flat is if you give someone too much free reign,
yeah,
they can dig themselves a hole.
Yeah.
Whereas when they worked within the constraints with BBC, And that allowed them to be more like smart with how they do things, which I think is part of the charm of the show.
Yeah, but the thing I actually prefer Grand Tour about is because it's a proper car show where you don't just like, it's not like Top Gear where it's, you get a short test drive of a car and then that's it. Do you remember all the road specials that they used to do on Top Gear?
Yeah.
Every episode of Grand Tour is like one of them. They've got that feature in virtually every episode.
All right.
And those were my favourite episodes where they done like the trip to Burma in the trucks, or they went to rescue Richard Hammond in Canada with the big SUVs, things like that. I love those episodes. Those are the better episodes to me. And I love how almost every episode of the Grand Tour feels like that. I mean, you do get some episodes where it's not a road show thing. It's not a trip, but they do other things where it's a feature takes up the majority of the episode.
Yeah.
Like there was one where they went to I can't remember where it was, but it was somewhere where the world militaries go to train.
I think I remember that one.
And then you had to take down the sniper, get to the jet, rescue the Queen, drive back to the embassy.
Yeah.
It wasn't a pure big tour, but that was a feature that took up the majority of the episode, and it was really fun and it was cool, and it did break up the kind of road episodes anyway.
I think my favourite one was it land, sea, and by land, by car, and by train. They're all trying to race from point A to point B, and I just thought it was the most fun episode ever because you're like, wow, I did not realise it was that fucking vast. Yeah.
I liked the episode where they were going to St. Petersburg, and Clarkson was in a hovercraft.
Ah, right, yeah.
May was in like a Renault Twingo or something.
Yeah.
And May was in the Twingo and Hammond was on a bike. And when they got into St. Petersburg, there was the tram, and he broke this like $4,000 bike and then just stole somebody's like standard mountain bike.
Sake.
And then the Stig done public transport. This was actually a Top Gear episode. Sorry.
Oh, right, okay.
And then the Stig found a Porsche 911 and was just banging his head off the thing. But I think they've done a couple of similar episodes in Grand Tour where they've done various different modes of transport, and they've gone to places and raced, and it's been hilarious. I liked how now that they've got more free reign, they can do more of the things we would have liked to have seen them do on Top Gear. Things like, because when we were on Top Gear, they couldn't do like the Holy Trinity of hypercars, which was the Ferrari LaFerrari, the McLaren P1 and the Porsche 918, I think it was. But it was the hybrid supercars that they done, I think was episode 1 of the Grand Tour.
Yeah.
They got to race them all around Monza, but they couldn't do that on Top Gear because insurance, the BBC it wasn't within the budget for that show on the BBC. And also, to be fair, at the time, Ferrari, McLaren and Porsche were like, no, it's not happening. But then by the time they started the Grand Tour, they had the insurance, they had the budget to do it, and they were all a bit more open to it anyway, so it ended up happening. But you get to see these kind of things that you probably wouldn't see on like the BBC's one because of such a bigger budget.
Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
There is, it has its pros and it has its cons, but it's definitely, I do enjoy Grand Tour more because you do get to see a lot more what ifs, because they also did the past, present and future for the opening of season 2.
All right, okay.
That was the one where Richard Hammond flipped the car, and the futuristic electric car, and it went on fire. Doing the hill climb. It was like the Rimac Concept 1, and then you had one of them in a modern supercar. I think it was a Lamborghini Aventador. And then another one, and then I think it was May was in the old one. I think it was like a Ferrari F40 or something from like 1992 or something. but they had these like 3 generations of supercars, and they were just like having a laugh with them. It was so cool to just see them like, instead of a lot, because a lot of the stuff on the BBC was scripted beyond belief.
Mhm.
Like the stuff on their Amazon show is it's still scripted, but not as much.
Yeah.
Like a lot of what they say is their true opinions and stuff, but the scripted parts are where you're going, what are you doing, what car are you driving. Whereas over there it was like, this is what you're going to say, this is what you're going to do. You can have a wee bit where you can be yourself here, and yeah, that's so.
Mhm.
I do like how they're a lot more like themselves there, because you actually get to see how they get on together.
Mhm. They're like bantering that.
Properly.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, because they do seem to be more happy working there, especially with the kind of banter they have with each other.
I'm sure the paychecks help a bit as well.
Yeah, I imagine they do.
But yeah, just get up or get back in topic for like the last couple of minutes, just can like kind of finish up a point. Since your love of Top Gear has kind of pulled it away again. So yeah, basically my point was, for instance, if you take a look at the Nightmare on Elm Street series, sometimes a bigger budget can kill the feel of it. For instance, part of the charm for Nightmare on Elm Street 1 was lack of budget, but they made up for that with superior acting.
Yeah.
Whereas a newer one, they had a bigger budget and everyone was all cost tons, but the actor wasn't as good and the writing was bad, because instead of making it more of a dark comedy feel almost at times,
Yeah.
it was just meant to be super serious and it didn't work. However, in retrospect, that also works with more current ideas. For instance, the like older version of It.
Yeah.
Right, going with
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry, thank you. Right, that follows the same kind of format of when they had lesser budget and lesser known actors. It's a cult classic.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, Tim Curry is a fantastic actor. But he wasn't as well recognised for his acting chops,
Mm-hmm.
because considering the parts that he played the clown from It. He played Dr. Frankenfurter in Rocky Horror.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he played a lot of weird parts.
Mm-hmm.
To say, like, they were great parts.
Yeah.
But they were very niche.
Mm-hmm.
So it was great that they could find an actor to do it who was very niche for a very niche part.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just because you were saying lesser actors there. I don't think Tim Curry's a lesser actor.
Oh no, I didn't mean him at all.
I think it's just he's so niche that he probably wouldn't get very many roles. Like, I doubt he would have, if he was in his acting prime today.
Yeah.
I doubt he would be in like some major blockbuster hit, because he is so, you know, because of the kind of roles that he's known for playing. He wouldn't be in, like, say, a Marvel movie.
Actually, no, I'm gonna completely disagree.
Well, if he's playing a villain, he would be.
Okay.
He could get in as a villain, but it would have to be some really weird villain, like Mysterio.
No, I don't. No, still gonna completely. You shush. Right. My logic is, when it comes to, just to clarify, when I said Tim Curry, I didn't mean lesser actors. I meant like with original Nightmare on Elm Street, we had like Johnny Depp. That was his first role. That was like
he's still a lesser actor. It's fine.
Funny. And then I think
I'm being serious.
And then Robert Englund.
Robert Englund.
Yeah. To my knowledge, that was his. I don't know if his first, but that was what catapulted him.
Yeah,
straight up.
Catapulted him.
Yeah. So that's just what I meant of catapulted some stars right up. Admittedly, one is now internationally known, and Robert Englund is still Freddy Krueger. But again, it's not a bad role. It's his most defining, iconic one.
Yeah, he really made Freddy Krueger his own.
Easily. However, interesting enough with Tim Curry, he's, again, I get what you mean by he's became a niche one in a sense. However, also feel like his acting ability was used best in It.
Yeah.
For instance, when it came to, say, Friday the 13th... Why do we keep saying that? That's your fault. When it came to Nightmare on Elm Street, they could rely a lot more on like blood and gore and those kind of scares. Whereas it was very psychological. He was able to portray a character that was both threatening physically, but also it got in your head.
Yeah.
But when you take that and look at the modern day one, they relied so much on jump scares, and that is it's a very different horror feel. Like, for instance, in that one, you're more scared of things jumping out at you and actually hurting you, whereas in the older one, it's more, when is something going to happen? We know something's going to happen. The music changed. We heard a laugh, or we seen a red balloon.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just thought I'd get that out. But yeah, that's basically my point. It's just the difference between a good story versus big budget. It's very different.
Oh yeah, definitely. I totally agree. I also think that as we get more immersive gaming styles, because we've been talking recently about the future of video games, and we both agreed that immersion is going to be a big thing when it comes to hardware, at least.
Definitely.
You know, like VR and various other things like that. Horror games, or especially psychological horror games, are going to, when that technology becomes more mainstream than it is. I mean, VR is very, very popular right now, especially with things like racing games and shooters and simulation games. But there's not as many horrors as I would like to see on it. But as more production companies, more development houses start to embrace VR, and as more people buy VR, I see horror games catching up with that, and I think the immersion levels of it is going to make it even more scary, especially the psychological horror games, and I can't wait to see that. It's going to be so good.
I mean, just off the top of my head, there's easily a few ways you can make a horror game as immersive as possible. For instance, you're talking about once you get full immersion set. That is a great idea, and I fully look forward to seeing that one day. But it's easier, like, more subtler ways of doing it now.
Yeah.
For instance, with your rig, you've got the full headphones on and all that, right? So you cannot hear anything outside. So even if you use, like, for instance, if you're meant to be playing someone who's being plagued by spirits, it's easy enough to have, like, the spirity voices.
Yeah.
Like, if you feel like they're coming from kind of behind you to a point, so you're all constantly going to be like, nothing's there. Now all of a sudden you see someone jump out your side, shit yourself. And if you're able to play with camera angles as well, right?
Yeah. This
one's more of a chunder maker, I'm not gonna lie. But if you ever come across like one in which you're going up against a monster or something, or you get grabbed from like your legs, you can make it so the camera looks like you've been lifted upside down.
Yeah.
So just the camera flips. So I could, obviously you're still going to be seated or you're going to be standing or whatever, but it'll feel like you've just been flipped upside down.
Yeah. It's definitely something that I think horror games, or just scary games in general, need to embrace as VR, because the immersion levels, even that we've got just now, like is fantastic. And like, I was playing Arizona Sunshine on VR with Josh the other day, over the week, well, actually last weekend, and he got disconnected, and there was a kind of wall there, and I kind of put my character's hands on the wall so that when he rejoined, he would just kind of see my character leaning against this wall. And I stood there for so long like that I completely forgot I was in VR, and I actually went to put my weight on this wall, and I'm standing in the middle of a room with no wall there. So I nearly decked it. Because I spent so long in VR. I think I spent about 5-10 minutes in VR there, because I wanted to be ready for him coming back, because we're just about to shoot a horde of zombies like in the face. So I didn't want to be like, oh, I'm just going to disappear, because I knew when he came back we were just going to jump straight into it. And yeah, it was fantastic. But the immersion levels is great, because you can sometimes spend so long in VR that you forget. Like, even though the graphics are clearly a game, your brain starts thinking, that's a wall there, I'll just lean against it, and you fall flat on your face.
Smooth. Very smooth.
But no, the horror games embracing that will just make things so much scarier, especially because like you said, I have my headphones on. I've got noise cancelling headphones, so I definitely can't hear anything from outside. And like, even just playing any VR game, if I'm not expecting it, if I'm in my room at night playing VR and like someone comes in to speak to me and then they prod me, I still shit myself.
No, that's never gonna go away. That's the downside. And that's like you like a slight corner of like the goggles like kind of off with your nose so you can see the light moving, and you're like you're gonna have no warning at all.
Yeah. But no, I like having it as close to my face as possible so that like all the bits like the blinders, essentially, like they take out as much of the outside light as possible.
So you're always gonna shit yourself in, unfortunately.
Yeah, but it feels a lot more immersive, and I get less motion sick if I can't see anything outside of it. Like, because playing racing games, if I can see a wee bit out the sides or down the bottom, I start to get motion sick. But if I'm fully immersed in it, if I spin out, if I try to take a corner in GT Sport and the car just does a 360, I do kind of go, oh. But if I just take the corner normally, but I've got the outside light coming in, I go, oh. But in full immersion, it's just like, yeah, hanging around the outside.
Fuck, man.
Anyway, on to the news.
Finally, eventually.
Because we are an hour and 10 minutes in, and we've padded out our horror games topic with horror movies.
Yeah, mostly
Top
horror
Gear,
movies. My apologies.
And my college failures.
Fuck up. Yeah, so basically it was a bit more banter than horror. However, I suppose to some people that our banter does classify itself as horror, in which case we've been suitably frightened.
Yeah. So first up, this is all in chronological order from when the last podcast was. Sometimes I like to arrange it by topic. Sometimes I'm just doing it chronological. Sometimes just whatever order I feel like doing it. Well, this... No, because sometimes I just go, I'll put that in, I'll put that in, I'll put that in, and I don't even think about an order.
Because he's the boss.
No, I'm not the boss.
That's not how I said it, motherfucker.
I don't care.
You can't say that, can you?
I can't.
The bows.
Anyway, Hitman 2.
Yep.
Is going to get a competitive 1v1 ghost mode.
See, I've seen people use like these kind of modes in like Assassin's Creed, and it was fucking annoying. So I did using it in Hitman of all things. I'm like, oh, fuck that.
Here's the thing, right? So two players will start standing next to each other. You will look as a normal Agent 47, and the person next to you will look kind of ghosted, pale.
Obviously, that'll also be like each or look like opposite.
So you can go and do whatever, they can go do whatever. You've got the same objective.
Yeah.
However, you can just see where they are. And say they walk up, kill a person straight in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
That person stays alive in your game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about getting the job done fastest versus each other. It's like time trial mode.
Seriously, just speed?
Yeah.
That's a bit shit then.
The level is exactly the same for both players. However, obviously, if you take different approaches, your interactions with some people will differ how the world goes in both people's maps. But at the start, up until you make your first interaction, everything's the same. All the same weapons, all the same costumes, all the same people to interact with. And yeah, it'll start with the Miami location at launch, and more will be added as time goes on. I think it sounds like kind of pretty cool.
It does sound cool at point, but I don't like the idea of it being down to time. Because the last thing you want is someone being just pure sloppy to win.
Yeah,
like just fighting their way through. That's not fucking Hitman. Like if I'm gonna set up a pure sniper point from like the cleaning closet or some shit, that takes time, effort, costumes. As opposed to one dude just going, I'm gonna fucking Assassin's Creed this motherfucker by walking up in between everyone and then stabbing him in the face.
Well, the thing is, obviously, like you get your ratings at the end as well.
Okay, right.
So things like where you've seen where the guards alerted, did they find the body, things like that.
I didn't realise that was one. Did they find the body?
Yeah, well, generally, after you kill them, you've got to hide the body and then you escape.
I'm not gonna lie, I've never played it before, so...
you've got to do that. So,
yeah. Alright.
You don't just kill them and the level ends.
That's one thing. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't sure how a level went in Hitman, so that makes more sense.
You start like a wee bits away. You've got to make your way there using costumes, decoys, distractions, or just plain brazenly walking through and hoping nobody gives a shit.
Oof.
Nice. To get to the target,
yeah.
Kill the target, and then escape. Now, you can just leave the target on the floor, but the guards will get alerted. So you've got to then hide the target, and then, get as far away from the body as possible before they find the body. Because if you're near the body, then they suspect you, and then they get alerted, and then they open fire at you.
Mm-hmm.
So, you've got to do all these kinds of things.
Is there any way to just, fight your way out?
Oh, yeah. I played Hitman 2, on the PS2, the original Hitman 2.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I had I was the absolute stealth assassin right up until I killed them, and then I couldn't get away from the body quick enough, so I just got in a firefight all the way. I was playing Call of Duty the second half of the game.
Wow.
the second half of every level, man. It was fantastic.
Not bad.
But yeah, so that's the new mode. It's got another multiplayer mode, and it's a cooperative one called Sniper Assassination. I don't actually know much about that mode, but Hitman is coming to Windows, PC, and Xbox November 13th. So I think I will give that a try when it comes out. It looks good. If it's anything like the older Hitman games that I remember, it'll be fantastically hard. Because you got to have the right one of the right strategies to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And strategies can change based on playstyles. If you prefer sniping, there's always a spot you can snipe from. If you prefer getting up close and personal, you can there's always a couple of costumes that will let you get as close as you can, and you can get them with a garrote, or you can shank them. Or if you are somewhere in between, there's always somewhere you can go and you can just shoot them with your silenced pistol and walk away.
Mm-hmm.
There's depending on your play style, there's always a way to do it for every play style. But it's say being more of a kind of sniper, it might make it harder because of the amount of space you've got to take the shot and stuff. And
yeah.
Not every method is going to be easy, but every method is an option.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Talking about shooter games.
Yep.
Battlefield 5, its single-player story, travels the world during World War II.
That could be pretty cool, not going to lie.
So, obviously we know that the campaign's going to be called War Stories. And it's going to be it's going to follow World War II's theatres of war.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got Axis versus Allies in Europe, and you've got Pearl Harbor, the Pacific Theatre, which is America and Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have all of those. It looks good. I've seen a wee trailer for it. It does look fantastic. It's not much I can really say about it other than it does look really good. It's the first time I've actually been proper excited for an FPS game for a long time.
Just to clarify, I'm not too sure if you did cover it and I just kind of blanked for a couple of seconds. But is only the allies you can play, or do you reckon they're going to put you in the in the shoes of someone from the bad side kind of thing and see what you do there, or what? Because I know these kind of games can make you kind of question your morals. So if you're forced to play as one of the Nazis, do you reckon that could be a thing?
I don't actually know.
What about speculation? And do you reckon they could or would?
But one of back in June, they revealed the first story, which was called Nordless.
Yeah.
And that takes place in 1943 during the German occupation of Norway and focuses on a young resistance fighter. You're also going to get ones set in North African desert. But they do say the Battlefield 5's campaign It's going to focus primarily on tales of young soldiers thrown into impossible situations with excruciating decisions to make and long odds of survival, and in the way which those experiences will bring out a fighting spirit they didn't yet know they had. So I imagine you might find them being on both sides of the war.
Because I can imagine like a new recruit into like in a Nazis thinking, no, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to like get your way out, maybe help people get across kind of thing.
But I can't say for sure.
No, yeah, obviously. No, I just thought it'd be an interesting idea.
But I think you can. I think they do.
I mean, definitely be polarizing because you can tell some people are going to be like, I will not play as a Nazi, but then you're like, it's kind of part of the story. You want to progress, you kind of have to do it.
Yeah. I don't know. I imagine they would, but because the game is about telling the stories of people, and not everybody who was part of Hitler's regime was there willingly. A lot of them were forced into it.
Or even if they weren't forced, it's not like you can just say, no, I don't want to do it.
Exactly.
And I'd be like, well, why not? And then
I mean, obviously, I don't think they are going to make you play as someone from like the SS.
I get you. Yeah, there's limits.
I do think if they're going to get you playing as someone from the Axis forces, it's going to be someone who's there reluctantly.
Yeah. Because there's no way in how you're going to play as a full-on officer, because the only way to get promoted is...
Yeah, so I don't know. It's one of those things they should, because what they're saying is the War Stories campaign is about telling stories of people who are thrown into impossible situations. Now, an impossible situation would be someone fighting as part of the Axis forces when they don't want to be part of that. They don't believe in the cause. They're just, like conscripted to do it.
Yeah.
It would cause a lot of controversy because it's a really difficult thing, right? Because think about like in a lot of games where Nazi symbols come up, in Germany they have to be censored or adapted to something else.
Yeah, I didn't realise it was actually illegal for a good few years after the war.
Still is illegal.
I don't know, is it still illegal?
It's still illegal.
No, I meant it isn't to even mention Nazis, not let alone...
Right, in fully historical documents, documentaries and things like that, it's fine, That's
history, you can't...
That's history, and it's about education, whereas this is a video game. It's not really about education. Like, they want to tell the story of people in these situations, but they don't want to teach the history of these situations.
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, video games are changing as they get more immersive. It can become a teaching tool.
Yeah, well, we've seen that with Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Literally history.
While they're not Assassin. Is this no? Yes.
All of Assassin's
was
Creed
it Odyssey or Origins actually?
Origins is Egypt. Odyssey is Greek mythology.
It might have been Origins then.
Well, no, it's the all.
It was Origins. Because there was a teacher who was using that as a tool to teach about Egypt.
Oh, cool.
Because it came up with things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, arguably all Assassin's Creed games is about history. Yeah, some of it's a bit fictionalized, but none of it's ever grossly taken out of context.
It wasn't used to teach the history, it was used to teach a geography.
But you get my point now.
The fact it can be used as a teaching tool still is pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, video games are getting more intelligent. People are looking at them as more than just a game.
Yeah. With this being, the stories of... as far as I'm aware, these are true stories.
Yeah, some of it's obviously going to be a bit more grandiose to make it a game, but yeah, I get your point now.
These are going to be based on true stories as far as I'm aware, so it's it would be likely that it could happen, and I'm split on whether it will. If they do it right, it's fine. And so that's the thing, because I mean, you've got obviously Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
Right, you've got Wolfenstein 3D. Now that has in every version of it except from in Germany, it has a swastika, and at the end you fight Mecha Hitler.
All right. Keep wanting to play one of those games, never do.
I've got Wolfenstein 3D.
No, but
I can give you a copy of it.
all right.
But in Germany, you
Mhm.
don't fight Mecha Hitler, and it's not swastikas
All right.
that are on the
Okay.
walls. It's so it's adapted for German. I mean, you can still tell.
Yeah.
It's similar enough that you can tell,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not the same because it is illegal for that representation, unless it is, obviously, documentaries or, a book of pictures from the time,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So it's very difficult because if it does become a tool about history, if it is intended to be as historically accurate as possible,
Mm-hmm.
they might be able to get around all that. They might not. It's a very weird line
Mm-hmm.
because it is a video game, and video games are getting to the way that they are more historically accurate. They are more realistic, and if it keeps going that way, they could be considered documentaries.
I mean, there's like those kind of series of games you play. I can never remember if it's Chinese or Japanese history.
The Warriors series.
Yeah, and
Well,
obviously the fighting systems are grossly.
Dynasty Warriors is based on the Three Kingdoms era of Japan.
Mhm.
Well, China even. Dynasty Warriors is based on the novel The Romance of Three Kingdoms,
Mhm.
which is part history, part fiction.
Yeah, but still like a bit of
Um,
teaching too as well.
Yeah, because all the battles were real. Most of the people were real, and all of that. But some of it is obviously fictionalized, and
The fighting scenes, for instance.
just because it makes it more exciting, and it makes it more like with some of the novel parts, it makes it a better read, and some of the game parts are even more sensationalized because it makes for better gameplay.
Yeah.
Samurai Warriors is based in the feudal era of Japan.
Ah, okay, right.
So I can't remember the exact dates, but I think
See, just to clarify, the fact you can remember the dates to an extent highlights the fact it's a teaching tool.
but the dates were roughly about 1500s to the 1700s.
Where'd you go then?
And Dynasty Warriors is set about 500 BC
Oh, right, fuck.
to 1200 AD.
Jesus Christ, you
Um,
know so much.
Because, I mean, obviously there's a lot of things that are going on, and,
Mm-hmm.
because you've got, like, the Yellow Turban Rebellion, the fall of the Han Dynasty, the forming of the Three Kingdoms, the forming of the Jin Dynasty, the Battle of Wuzhang Plains, which is where Zhuge Liang in the game, Kong Rong in the novel, dies and ascends to heaven as the sleeping dragon. And yeah, it continues on, and there's more of the book than there is in the games. There's more battles and there's more characters than there are in the games.
Mm-hmm.
And as the game, as it gets more sequels, they add more and more and more
Yeah.
from the books to the games, which is fantastic. And it's because advancements in memory and storage and compression and things like that, it means they can add so much more.
I mean, I'd basically all that good, like, well, lecture you just gave. It's highlight the fact that it's either it's taught you a ton, or it's given you the drive to learn more.
Well, I wanted to take history in high school,
Mm-hmm.
but in high school, when you do history, you do
Yeah, it's very regimented.
it's always Scottish independence and World War One and Two.
No, that's not interesting, but if it's all you've got, whereas there's
It's-
so much history in the world.
It's really, really interesting. Like, those are really, really interesting, but you do them all throughout primary school.
Yeah.
You do them in first and second year
Mm-hmm.
history, and then you're expected to do them for standard grade and higher history.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've done them for like the last 10 years. I want to learn about some different part of history, but those are counted in school curriculum is classical studies, which when I was there, at the school we went to, they didn't offer that when I was there. So I couldn't take it. So that is how I didn't take history, because that's the kind of history I'd like to learn. Mostly because the history that we would have got is stuff I've done for the last 10 years.
Okay.
And I just didn't. I mean, obviously, like, as you do higher levels of it, you go more and more and more in depth.
Yeah.
But I got bored of doing it every single year. As much as I still wanted to learn more, I wanted to do something different. So, but playing the games, they gave me the drive to do my research and learn more about it and all of that kind of stuff. And, games like that are fantastic if you ask me. Like, even games that are purely fantasy, but they have some grounding in real life.
Make you want to find out what is real.
Like Valkyria Chronicles. That's set in a fictional world, but everything looks kind of World War II period-ish. And you then start looking at things and going, I wonder if what that is based off of. Like the tanks that they use and things like that. You go, I wonder what that's based off of, and then you start looking it up, and you go, oh, that's really.
Well, I mean,
cool.
if you want to go down that road, then if you look at Game of Thrones, large parts of all the stories are abridged versions of just British history.
Yeah, from the Dark Ages.
Yeah. So yeah, a basic point, which we're both agreeing with, seemingly, is, be it fully fantasy or even just based on, they can be very necessary tools that can be used for teaching.
Yeah.
Whether they will be taken as literal teaching tools or not, it doesn't change the fact that it is igniting the desire in people, as your prime example, for people to go, well, this is really cool. Yeah, there's going to be tons of information, but now I actually want to know more.
Yeah. Especially like because of my style of gaming, where I like to know not just how to play the game and how to beat the game and things like that. I like to know more about the lore and the backstory and the history of the game. Be that in the game world or like actual development. It does make me want to like find out more. And then as things are as everything is based in some way off of real life, because human imagination, while is considered to be infinite, it's infinite to the point of anything we've experienced we can draw off of. We find it really difficult to imagine things that are completely unlike anything we've ever seen.
Yeah.
As creative as we are. We base all of our fantasy off of real life things. Like you said, Game of Thrones is based off of Dark Ages Britain. Romance of Three Kingdoms and Dynasty Wars is set in the Three Kingdoms period of China. So it does make you want to learn more about where the influence of that came from. And then as you learn more about it, you learn, like, because I found learning about Romance of Three Kingdoms, I then got the book, and I learned more about the actual wars that happened. So, like, the Battle of Chibi, the Battle of the Red Cliff, as it's also known in the direct English translation. That was a massive military success, because they summoned the winds, like the winds happened, and you had to chain the boats together to stop them from drifting apart, to keep your naval force together. And so what they done is they just sent fire ships, just ships on fire, into these boats that were all chained up. And because like they were all chained up, it took them forever to get them separated. And since they were chained up, they've put bridges between them all to connect them, so you can just move around.
Yeah.
Because they had them at the ends of the lines connected to the ground, so they could attack from both sides.
Yeah.
And what they done is they sent the fire ships down, and then set fire to this whole naval fleet.
Fuck.
You know, and while yes, that happens in the game, you don't realise the scale of it until you read the book or study it up, and it was in such a more massive scale than in the game. So it's fantastic.
It does amuse me when that kind of thing does happen. Like you see it in be it a TV show, movie, or a game. You think, "Wow, that's a big grandiose, man." Then you read up on it, you're like, "Wow, it is not. It's a small thing compared to what it should be." Fuck.
Because in Dynasty Warriors 7, the Battle of Chibi, I think they programmed in about 50 ships in total, about 30 to 20. When in real life it was more 100,000. You know.
Whoa.
Well, 100,000 is a bit much, but
yeah, it was a good bit more than 50 though.
Yeah, it was a good couple of hundred ships.
Fucking. But obviously that's just down to programming methods and that.
But what I was actually thinking was 100,000 people, not 100,000 ships.
You tit.
But no, it was like a couple of hundred ships to about 70. You know, it was a lot big. You know, there was a bigger difference between them as well. So yeah, it was a really cool thing to read up about. Yeah. But back to Battlefield. Yeah, it's going to be all based on real life stories. You know, some of it's a wee bit fictionalized and stuff. So it does look good, and it's the first FPS I've been excited about for a long time. Obviously, it's coming to PS4, Xbox, and PC this year. However, we're going to come back to this later on, obviously, because we've got a bit more to talk about this, actually. It's not next. It's a couple more down. Again, chronological order. So the next thing up in the list is Discord has had the game store.
Okay.
For quite a while now, it's had the Discord library, which I've been using when I've been playing PC games, where if you are chatting to people on Discord and playing games on PC, you can launch the games through Discord instead of having to like go into Discord and then like load up Steam and then load the game. If you don't have Steam loaded, or like instead of having to go through all the menus to find the game if it's not on your taskbar start menu or the desktop, if it's in the start menu, you don't have to scroll through that. You can just click on the game library and it'll open it up for you.
All right.
Well, they've now got a store for indie games. For example, Celeste, Frostpunk, Into the Breach, and Dead Cells. They are going to add more games as time goes on.
Yeah.
And this is only for people who use the Nitro service.
Okay.
Well, sorry, free games are only for the Nitro service users, which is their subscription service. So yeah, it does look good. It's going to be about £9 a year, £9 a month for that.
Not bad.
So it costs about the same as Netflix.
Yeah, I figured you're gonna go for that.
Yeah. I couldn't get the word Netflix out. That was all. So yeah, that's pretty cool because like it's not it hadn't officially rolled out until last week worldwide, but it was in beta in Europe.
Ah, right, okay.
Because I had it, I could load up like months ago. I could load up League of Legends from Discord instead of having to like load it up from the start menu.
Not bad.
So yeah, it's a really cool thing to have. It works pretty well. It gives you a Discord overlay, which just shows you everybody in your live chat, like in your Discord chat, and lights their name up when they're talking. It's really, really cool. It's fantastic. I debated actually signing up for Nitro to get the games and stuff, but I don't have PC powerful enough to do it. Although I am going to be building one after the new year anyway, so
Well, attempting to.
I've not bought any of the parts yet, so I can't yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I will be. So Pokemon Go released the 4th gen about 2-3 weeks ago.
Not gonna lie, I have not been on it in months, man.
I've noticed. You've not accepted the gift I sent you months ago.
Okay, not months ago, but yeah, it's not even like it's a bad game. Just that way you're like,
It's that way you're like, oh, I have to do exercise.
oh,
No, that's what I'm like.
oh, good save.
No, seriously, I'd rather just sit with my feet up playing PlayStation than
Plus
go
it's
out
getting
walking
cold.
around. Yeah, that as well. Like I'll
Sounds fucking
play-
Scottish, but it's getting fucking cold. No.
I'll play it on my way to and from work, but that's about it really at the moment.
I mean, the most I'm out at the moment is walking with my girlfriends, and that's it. Aside from that, I'm like, I don't want to go out. It's warm.
Yeah. So the current regional exclusives are Carnivine, Chatot, and Pachirisu.
Patrice will give Chatot. Ugh.
So Carnivine is found in southeastern United States, which it's a Venus flytrap.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that.
So it's kind of around the Carolinas, Florida, Maryland, Georgia, that kind of area.
So basically, if you know anyone from over there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Chatot is found mostly kind of Australasia.
Fucking hell.
Because the most common kind of parakeet is the Australian budgergar.
Okay.
So it's there. However, they have been found in Brazil as well. So I think it's just generally the southern hemisphere in general. And Pachirisu is Canadian mostly. It's been found in Alaska and Russia as well.
Russia?
So, Russia.
Fuck's sake.
So it does seem to be just kind of places where it's a generally cold climate the majority of the time. So you'll probably start finding it in Scandinavia, Iceland, Greenland.
God, I'm scared to see what we're going to get as a regional exclusive.
Trubbish. Although I think that's what Gen 5, 6 maybe.
Harsh to your own country.
I think with winter coming up, and if we have a winter anything like we did last year, we'll probably get Pachirisu. Because winter last year was ridiculously cold.
Annoying enough, then you get snow. You always get snow either before or after Christmas. I want to wait Christmas. Come on, fuck.
Well, what did we have last year? February, we were knee deep in snow.
I know, and you're like, seriously, you're ripping it now.
Yeah, we had about a foot of snow in February.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still cold in December, but it's just oh my god, I can't go outside because it's cold, not oh no, the snow's fucking everywhere.
I can't wait. I can't wait for it to start snowing. It's going to be so good.
Not gonna lie, I prefer spring and autumn. The other two, I'm like, it's too hot or it's too cold.
I'm definitely all up in the winter.
No.
Winter is my favourite time of the year.
Is that just because you like to stay in the house where it's warm and watch the snow outside?
Actually, I'm more likely to go outside in the snow than I am out to go outside on a sunny day.
You're such a goth.
No, I get sunstroke and heat stroke far too easy.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
So I can't go outside in the summer.
I can't do it. Why? Health reasons.
Yeah, well,
I burn.
I go out in the sun for 5 minutes and I pass out.
Jesus.
I don't burn. I'd never had sunburn.
Whereas I burn like bacon.
But you see, you're white, pasty white, and I'm sallow skinned, so.
Well, put it this way, you've met my dad, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How unfair is that? With dudes like Tanner and you, goes to a foreign country, he tans to fuck, so's my little brother, but then me and my mum are like, nah, we're crispy. We're fucking burnt.
Secretly, you're ginger.
Apparently, it's unfair. It's like our family's literally split down the middle, and it's like, come on. It's annoying as shit.
We're talking about Christmas.
Sound. Christmas.
There was one game I was wanting for Christmas, and it's called Starlink Battle for Atlas.
Is that the one I got annoyed at?
That was the Toys to Life game
No one got annoyed at because it looked
from
amazing.
Ubisoft, and they've got the exclusive version for the Switch with Star Fox.
Yeah, it annoys me. I watched the trailer. I was like, "Wow, this is amazing." Then I'm like, "Oh, nah, I'm put off now."
Well, it released earlier in the week.
Mm-hmm.
Well, early last week, and a lot of people who bought it found they weren't able to play it because the game.
Uh-huh.
Well, if you bought the starter pack,
Right.
so that comes with Fox McCloud's
Chip thing.
ship.
Yeah.
The game, Fox McCloud's statue,
Mm-hmm.
and all the hardware to use it came without the game cartridge.
Seriously?
Yeah. So the box had been cut open, and the plastic insides of it, to hold everything in place.
Yeah.
A slit had been cut into it, size big enough to take the Switch box out, and someone's taken the Switch cartridge out, putting it all back in, and then so it seems to have been a problem mostly with people buying it in America, particularly at Best Buy, but not any state in particular. So people have been stealing the game carts.
Was like in store.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, there are currently 6 1-star reviews. Well, I'd say currently at the time of
This thing.
at the time of the article,
Yeah.
there were 6 1-star reviews on Best Buy, who each one of them said they got an unsealed starter box, but without the game itself inside. Some have had luck exchanging them in stores, but online Starlink on the Switch is totally sold out. But Ubisoft are aware of the problem, and they are saying that customers have to contact Ubisoft customer support at support.ubi.com, and they'll provide whatever assistance they can. It's really weird, because I think myself, if I'd seen like a starter box and the tape was already cut,
That'd be a massive red flag.
I would go, I want a different one.
Yeah, but again, if you're buying it online, I mean, you can't really do much. But yeah, if you're in store and so you're like, nah, because the whole thing is right. This is a pet peeve of mine. I'm gonna lie. It annoys me the fuck, but I get it. When you buy a new game and it's got a security seal and it's a pure bitch to take off.
Yeah,
you're like, okay, this is good because you can tell someone's put this on. You can't just easily take it off. You have to you fuck up. You can't just go, oh, I'm just gonna nonchalantly go and seal it again. No, you fuck the seal to get it off, so it's fine. But now if I got someone tried to say, yeah, this isn't you, and the packaging been slashed, I'm like, nah, the fuck, man. I ain't paying my money for a fucking new game with any chance of it not being pristine.
I know.
No way.
But no, it's not even that. It seems to only be the Switch version that has the issue. So on Xbox, PC, PlayStation, there seems to be no issue with them. The games, everything's intact. It seems to just be the Switch version, and it's only the game cart that's gone.
Which is kind of weird as well.
The case for the cartridge is there. Star Fox, his Arcwing, all the hardware's there. It is just the cartridge that is gone, which is the weird thing. Because if people are taking them, they need all the hardware to play the bloody game.
Well, unless they've already. But
if you've got the hardware, you must already have the game.
No, I don't get it. I don't
exactly.
Get it
I don't get it.
Nah, I don't get it.
But no, where is it? So, on a site called Reset Era, someone had said, to those who got the physical package, did your box have some kind of tape on the outside you had to remove before opening it?
Yeah, see what I mean, yeah.
My starter pack had just come in the mail from Best Buy, and there was no wrapping or tape or anything on the outside of the box. The reason I asked this...
massive red flag.
The reason I asked this is because I just opened it up to find my starter pack contains everything for the game itself. So I'm thinking maybe someone opened it up, everything except for the game itself even. So I'm thinking someone opened it up ahead of time and stole the game. Similar story was shared on Reddit in a thread called I Can't Believe It, but I was sent Starlink without the game too. The packaging is cut up with a razor blade and the case must have been forcibly removed through the plastic. Something review copies noted with the game not coming with the starter kit. This Redditor wrote attaching a picture of what showed up at their home. I'll show you when we're done this.
Cool.
Obviously I can't show.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
But I will definitely be linking this one in the description so people can see.
So it's all just from Best Buy, though?
Apparently.
That's seemingly a more of a bigger red flag than anything else, though.
Yeah. Yep. But I can't really say much. I don't know if it's just Best Buy in America or if it's happening from places like Game in the UK or not. I don't have a clue because I've not seen anything about this happening anywhere else other than in the States.
It's
and
such a weird thing to
every
do,
time I hear about it, it seems to be from Best Buy. So I don't actually know.
It's fucking weird.
But continuing on with kind of Nintendo Switch stuff,
Yep.
Pokemon Let's Go.
Mm-hmm.
Junichi Masuda told us last week that they will introduce a unique post-game challenge for Pokemon Let's Go, and they've now revealed what it is. So scattered throughout the world of Kanto are expert trainers.
Yeah.
Each one a master of a specific Pokemon. Your task: challenge all 151 of them. So they're called master trainers.
Right.
You can battle them once. You can only battle them once you've defeated the Elite Four.
I think you can only get one chance.
No.
I was like, what?
And taken down the Pokemon League. With your champion belt in hand, you can go through Kanto region again and find these characters. They're designated by a thought bubble above their heads, showcasing their favourite Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be you have to have that Pokemon as well.
Yeah.
Because that's the only Pokemon they're willing to face off against. So if you find someone with a Charmander, have a Charmander. If you find someone with a Dragonite, you have to fight them with a Dragonite, and so on and so forth.
Must suck if you're sitting there with your ultimate Charizard and you're like, really? You want a Charmander? He was technically a Charmander. Does that count? No.
Yeah.
Oh.
However, once you beat a Master Trainer, you take their title away from them.
Fuck, I'd want a shiny version.
So it seems to be a better way of dealing with the post-game in a Pokemon game, because it has been fairly hit and miss. I really enjoyed the post-game in Gold Silver. That's where once you were finished in Johto, you went back to Kanto.
All right, okay.
And then once you finished in Kanto, you went and fought Red.
Oh, not bad.
No, you could do that on Mount Silver. I think you could actually do that once you beat the Johto League. I can't remember. But you definitely had fight Red from, like, basically the character you play as in Red Blue.
Got you.
And do the Kanto League. So that was probably the best post games I remember. So see what happens with the next one, I guess.
Yeah.
This sounds like it's a fairly good one. It sounds like it would be pretty fun. Quite looking forward to it. I really, really want to get Pokemon Let's Go anyway. Yeah. So this actually makes me a bit more excited for getting it. And obviously, I think we've spoke about Pokemon Let's Go every time we've been online lately. And it launches November 16th.
Yeah,
I see you Googling the next article.
I had to see it because it doesn't make sense. But okay, now I get it now. That's pretty gnarly, not going to lie.
You should see some of the things that people have been posting about it.
Good or bad?
Oh, they're so good.
No, I mean as in positive or negative? Like responses?
Positive.
Oh, okay, yeah, cool.
And it's not even that, it's people using photo mode and stuff like that as well.
Oh, okay.
It's so good. They're just having so much fun with it. I should probably explain. Zombie Mario is coming to Super Mario Odyssey, obviously for Halloween.
Yeah.
Last year they done the skeleton outfit, which was Mario with no flesh at all.
Alright, give me a minute.
So Nintendo has released the free update for the Switch this week, adding the zombie headwear and zombie outfit to Mario's Odyssey Crazy Cap shop. The headgear for the outfit costs 3,000 coins.
Okay, that's pretty
And
gnarly.
the costume is 5,000 coins and can only be unlocked after completing the main story.
Mm-hmm.
As well as that, you have 3 new filters for snapshot mode, which are manga, tile, and kaleidoscope. Which the manga one looks pretty cool, by the way. So playing as an undead Mario might seem a bit strange, but players have been having an absolute ball with it. It's been so good, especially considering instead of a hat, you have an axe, and throwing them at enemies certainly makes Mario seem a lot more violent.
I never considered that. Oh my god.
But players are having an absolute
To clarify,
ball with it.
just because I've not played it, but I think I get the idea. So it's Mario Odyssey, so that's where you put the hat at things and
You throw the hat at things, you can
but
take
instead
over.
it's now an axe.
Yeah.
Okay, that is that's sick.
Like, you get a kind of Mexican outfit, and he has a sombrero.
No. That's awesome.
You get a kind of posh dapper outfit, and he's got a top hat. Like
Oh my God.
Like a Brunel top hat.
Got you. Wow.
I think there's a cowboy one, he's got a Stetson or something, I can't remember. But every costume has a different hat.
And for him it's an axe.
And for this, it's an axe. However, you can mix and match. So you can have like a normal Mario with the Halloween hat.
So you just feel like being a pure evil Mario, basically.
Yeah. So yeah.
It's me, Mario.
But yeah, players have been having an absolute fantastic time with it, especially with the snapshot mode and stuff as well.
No, that sounds pretty epic, not gonna lie.
Zombie apocalypse, motorcycle gang adventure shooter exploration game.
Or less known as, Days Gone.
Yep. I was going to say in a minute, I was just trying to figure out if there was any other genres I was going to throw in there.
We don't really know enough about it yet.
Yeah, I know. Well, that
basically
is now...
the Walking Dead but game version.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, that's now being delayed by 2 months, and it's going to be April 26th, 2019.
Just in time for my birthday.
Yep, that it is. Sony Bend, the studio behind the game, said it will use the extra time to further polish Days Gone, and it seems to be fine. It makes sense.
The worst thing that can happen though is when they keep saying that is if a game comes out and it's still buggy. That's when fans can be like, fucking seriously?
However, here's the thing though, it does work in their favour though.
Well, waiting and then releasing a good game.
Yeah, not just that, just pushing the release date back anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, see if they just delayed it for the sake of delaying it, it would work in their favour.
Okay, I get you now.
Because the original release date was February 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
On that day is the scheduled release date. These games may or may not get delayed as well, or cancelled, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
These games are not definitely coming out. They seem to be on that time scale, but they might not be. Anthem.
Ouch.
Crackdown 3.
Varies.
And Metro Exodus.
Ouch.
So, these games are coming out on the same day. By delaying the game by 2 months, people will probably still be playing at least one of these games.
I kind of feel sorry for Crackdown. It's kind of getting humped.
Yeah, it's a very weird place because, this game has been in development for the last 100 years.
Basically.
It is basically the only vaporware that we're still talking about.
from what we've seen of Anthem, we both know we want it. It looks amazing.
Yeah, it's like what multiplayer in Mass Effect should have been, rather than just a generic a generic kind of waves shooter thing.
Then Metro Exodus is looking like it's going to be like the ultimate Fallout game.
Yeah, especially considering Metro is generally it's set underground for most of it. Metro Last Light, Metro Redux 2033, and there was another one I can't remember what it's called. They've all been set in like a kind of underground base with lots and lots and lots of tunnels and stuff, and this is going to be the first proper open world where you're on the surface,
getting to grips with all the shit that's actually up there,
because that's the point at which the novels are at, because the game follows novels.
Are they English novels?
Russian.
Fucking what's it with like Witcher and the Metro thing guys not
I'm pretty sure there are English translations for them.
Sometimes the translations are just never as good though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
but I'm pretty sure they might have even been written in English. It's just that's you know where the author comes from.
Definitely worth checking out though. But
yeah, they are. I think that's the point in the books that they're at. So I think that's why we're now in the open world stage of the games. So also moving to April makes Days Gone the biggest name console launch for that month.
All right, cool.
So yeah, it does seem like it's a smart idea to move it. Give it more time to polish it, more time to advertise it, and it gets away from particularly Anthem, which is probably the biggest out of those three games.
Because everyone's looking for that to be the thing that makes up for Andromeda.
Yeah, not just that, but Crackdown 3 is a Microsoft exclusive, so people who are playing on PlayStation play PlayStation only are just like, yeah, I don't care, whatever. And Metro Exodus is not like the biggest franchise out there. It's a fantastic franchise.
Yeah,
but it's not. It's kind of that weird place where, because it launches the opposite end of the year from things like Battlefield and Call of Duty, as a shooter game, it does generally sell fairly well, but because it's not Call of Duty or Battlefield, it doesn't sell as well as it should. Well, do you know that way? It's in that kind of really weird place where it sells well, but not as well as it should, and it then doesn't get the attention it deserves, and it's such a weird game because of its place in gaming. Not because of anything else. It's not because of the development. It's not because of the gameplay or the story or anything like that. It's just because of how it should sell, but it doesn't sell as much as it should. And the people that buy the Metro games are big fans of the Metro series, and it's so weird. It should be bigger than it's like Titanfall.
No, I didn't really like the idea of that.
That was a great shooter game that should have done better than it did. But the difference with that is it launched at the same time as Call of Duty and Battlefield.
Right, okay. Bad idea.
So, that should have sold better than it did, but it didn't because of when it was released. And because, like, when you think shooter games, you always go Battlefield and Call of Duty. And that kind of takes the... because they drag in so many people that want to play shooters, because they're the two big franchises, a lot of people don't play as many of the smaller franchises as they should.
Yeah.
And Metro is one of them. So yeah. But yeah, it does make it the big name, like I said, the big name release for April, moving it away from Anthem, giving it a better chance to sell. Although I don't think Anthem will have much of an effect on the sale of Metro.
No, I think they're kind of different enough.
They're different enough, yeah.
Whereas Crackdown, I think it just kind of falls in a weird niche right now, because the original people who played the first two are like, they'd realise it's flawed, or it's going to fall into like the kind of Fortnite grouping of kid-centric because of its style.
Yeah, the one thing I'm looking, like, I don't have an Xbox, and but I've got a PC, and it's not going to be an Xbox exclusive, it's a Microsoft exclusive, so it is going to be on PC as well.
Right, okay.
The one thing I'm looking forward to about this is playing and just hearing Terry Crews shout at me.
Yeah, that is one good selling point.
Like Terry Crews is just fantastic,
Yeah, we can all agree.
especially in Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
That is his show.
Yeah.
Well, him and Prolos stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't disagree with that.
Yeah.
It's such a fantastic show. Although I do like Holt,
Want to talk again?
the captain,
Yeah.
who's like very the opposite of everybody else, because he's quiet, reserved, respectful, and everybody else is just riotous.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Do you remember a really, really old gaming console called the Intellivision?
No.
Well, they are coming back into the console market in 2020.
That is ballsy as fuck.
Now, I cannot remember when... Well, their first console launched in 1979, and I think they only made one.
And that is... Does that even count as a launch?
No. I don't mean one single console. I mean they only made like one console. Like they were only in the game for one generation. Let me see. That's the Intellivision.
Eh?
It was 1979. What do you expect?
No, I just don't get how the controls work.
It's an omnidirectional disc.
Yeah, I got that, but...
You push it,
Mm-hmm.
and it moves like an analog stick.
There's like 12 buttons. Well, fuck.
Yeah, because they didn't have face buttons back then for interacting with RPGs and stuff.
Huh.
It was an old school console. It was a better time. It was a simpler time.
So I thought I'd seen it. No, anyway, I've seen this idea as well. I think I remember slightly that one.
That's the ColecoVision
Yeah, that looks
that you're looking at there.
crazy.
Close, but not quite.
No, I'm just looking through them now. 'Cause
Actually,
they just look really weird.
Did Intellivision make Coleco?
Oh lord! And then you get VTech, Creative Vision.
Coleco.
That's just a calculator. Not gonna lie.
I'm just quickly googling ColecoVision because I can't remember if that was made by. No, that was actually just made by Coleco. Anyway,
Yeah.
Intellivision are bringing back a new console. It's called the Amico,
All right.
and it's going to include the original omnidirectional disc that was on the original Intellivision,
Mm-hmm.
and a full color touchscreen on the controller, which is meant to represent the 12 buttons that were on the original controller.
Yeah.
Are you looking for the console?
I shall look for it now. It was
Amico.
Gotcha.
Intellivision Amico. So it's it looks kind of cool. Yeah.
It's got an iPod. What the fuck?
Yeah.
It's iPods.
Yeah, it looks like an iPod with like the buttons on the side as well. So every game
Oh.
that's going to be made for this is going to be family friendly. I think it looks good.
Oh, it's certainly trying to do something different. I'll give it that.
It's meant to be very family friendly. Every game is going to be rated E or E10 plus.
Sometimes that can be a massive detriment. Don't even lie.
Well, I mean, these are obviously using ESRB ratings. Hold on a second. Now, obviously, these are using the ESRB ratings, but using the PEGI ratings that we use over here,
Mm-hmm.
I think everything is just going to be E for everyone. So it's expected to include HDMI out, several USB connections. Every game is going to be obviously family friendly,
Mm-hmm.
and it should be accessible to everybody, not just hardcore gamers, and it should be still fun for hardcore gamers while being accessible for casual players.
See, I'd argue for that. I mean, would you really argue?
But just wait till you see the launch lineup that's expected for it. Now, every game
I gotta give you that, right?
every game is going to be first party. Intellivision are going to make all the games.
Oh, okay, right. Sorry. I was like, well, what?
And any games that aren't first party
Mhm.
they're going to be remade by Intellivision for the console with as a license.
Oh, right. Okay.
With content that's exclusive to it. Every game is going to cost a tenner.
Doesn't
And
that kind of...
there's going to be no cartridges, no discs. It's all going to be digital download from their digital store.
Yeah, but to look on a price beforehand kind of states quality, doesn't it?
Yep. And the console is going to be between $150 and $180. I cannot remember what that is in pounds.
I think it's like, I can't remember, is it $1 more or less right now?
So here's, I have a full list here. I'm not going to go through the full list.
Yeah, we're just going to go through them.
I'm just going to name a couple. So first up is Intellivision titles.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got things like baseball, skiing, math fun,
okay, right,
snafu,
Frogbog.
Frogbog, B-17 Bomber, auto racing. You've got Atari titles such as the classic Pong, Asteroid, Centipede, Missile Command.
Wait, to clarify, so we're going to take old school titles and then just reimagine them and then say it's theirs?
Magic titles, Microsurgeon, Atlantis, Demon Attack, and Dracula. Additional titles, things like Toe Jam and Earl, Kung Fu Master, Moon Patrol, Caveman Ninja. There's going to be no teen, mature, or adult only rated titles. And no games will offer in-app purchases or DLC of any kind. Mostly because all the games that are being released for it were made in the bloody 70s.
Oh, what?
It's weird, right? It sounds cool in a way, but at the same time, no. I don't want that.
Right, this is what annoys me, right? You can't say, like, gaming, like, isn't for everyone when you can get, like, 8 to 12-year-olds playing Fortnite.
Well, yeah, but it's weird because 8 to 12-year-olds is kind of the target demographic for Fortnite.
Yeah, but that's besides the point. My point is, you can't say it's not for everyone, but if you can get an 8 to 12-year-old who can master a console well enough to say, get up through all the menus, learn all the different things, that's what I'm trying to say. You can't say, like, someone in the 40s can't sit down and do it when an 8-year-old can.
No, that's not what they're saying. What they're saying is with the rise of hardcore gamers,
Mm-hmm.
most of them, like, demographically, right, the exact demographic is a 34-year-old white male. That is the average hardcore gamer, right?
I can't even argue for that, which is quite sad.
I mean, obviously, I'm not saying every hardcore gamer is a 34-year-old white male. Just when
partly a mass demographic.
Yeah, but when you take
Marc guy.
Yeah, when you take, like, all the statistics that have been taken on the demographics, it boils down to that is the most common age 34, or the average age is 34. Most of them are white, so probably white, and most of them are male, so probably male. But I mean, there are a lot of female gamers out there. There are a lot of gamers who are younger than 34 and older than 34. Like, there's an old man in Japan. He's in his 70s, 80s, and he plays Dark Souls because it keeps his brain active. Like, you know how you see the old people going, "Oh, I'm keeping my brain active, I'm doing my crossword." He plays Dark Souls instead.
That's literally gaming goals.
Yeah.
I'd love to be that age and just sitting playing any random RPG, but, like, I've got money, I can afford this, I'll just sit and chill, I've got nothing else to do.
But Intellivision are just, they're trying to they're trying to make a console that is suitable for everyone. I mean, sure, right? You've got kids who are under the age of 18 playing things like Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto and things like that.
I'd still argue that's down to parenting as opposed to suitability.
But Intellivision are trying to make this so that, you can play with your family and all that. And, I mean, judging by the games that are on there, it's going to be a very arcadey feel.
But why not just get a Wii then? Not a Wii,
a Switch.
I know it says my age, doesn't it? And immediately I went to go Wii. Why not just get a Switch then? I mean, that's
price. This is about half the price of a Switch.
Aye, and it fucking shows.
Aye.
I'd rather spend double money and get a Switch when I know at least I'm going to get value for it.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree.
You can get a Switch, yeah, and download the half these games.
Yep, pretty much, yeah. It's one of those things. It's just the way it goes.
It's like a thing like Ned Flanders would make up in Simpsons.
Oh yeah, no, it would be Maud Flanders. Think of the children.
Yeah. Oh my God, no.
No, I'm more like Ned Flanders than you think. I'm also a lefty.
Oh, for fuck's sake. I thought you could use both.
Technically, I'm ambidextrous. The problem is, being properly ambidextrous means I could do every
Everything.
task equally as well with both hands, or just do every task with both hands to a level of competence. I can't do that. I cannot write with my right hand. I cannot throw darts with my left hand. I'm left or right hand dominant for specific tasks.
Same. I get cold weird.
But I'm left hand dominant overall.
Well, for instance, what when you're using a knife and fork, what's in one hand? Oh, that's people because they always get confused. It's like, oh, that's simple.
Fork in my left and knife in my right.
See, that's what most right-handed people do apparently.
Yeah, I throw darts with my right hand. I write with my left hand. If I'm having a smoke, I hold it in my left hand. I type mostly with my left hand. When I'm on my phone, if I'm playing Pokemon Go, I use my right hand, but most of my typing's done with my left hand. I drive I drive with a stick on the right. I don't actually drive a
just to
left wheel drive. I don't drive a left hand drive because I don't drive.
Yeah.
No, I would probably drive a right hand anyway because Britain.
Yeah. Not really a choice, more of a do it.
I grab my drinks with my left hand. Yeah, I'm left hand dominant for most tasks, but I am right hand dominant for some.
Yeah, for me, I swapped around randomly and people get annoyed. It amuses me.
My brother is properly ambidextrous.
Really?
He does sword fighting. He fights equally as well with the sword in either hand.
Huh.
And he can hold the shield in either hand. However, he is he shines the most at sword fighting when he does what's called Florentine, which is a sword in each hand.
What anyone else would call dual wield. You utter nonce.
Well, here's the thing. Dual wielding just means to wield two, right?
Yeah.
However, to wield two swords is called Florentine. To wield two guns is called akimbo. It's the same thing, just more specific.
Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy.
Just saying. Just saying.
Fucking hell.
Anyway, continuing on.
Yeah.
So, well, this kind of ties in with swords, bladed weapons.
Oh God, yeah. No, I didn't probably get propaganda at this one, so you'll need to properly walk me through this one.
Friday the 13th is getting a reboot.
Okay.
And
to clarify, you do mean the wait? What do you mean? Do you mean the movie or the
movie?
Oh.
Talks to produce this latest reboot are in progress between LeBron James's production company Spring Hill Entertainment. That is LeBron James, the NBA player.
Damn.
I don't know how or why, but okay. And Vertigo Entertainment, the company behind the recent Poltergeist remake and the covert sequel to Blair Witch Project. According to reports from Bloody Disgusting that have been confirmed by The Hollywood Reporter, this latest reboot would be the second attempt at reviving the film series after 2009's Friday 13th movie.
Okay.
After the reboot almost a decade ago, the series fell into a legal battle that has been seen the rights of the original script returned to the first screenwriter, Victor Miller.
Mm-hmm.
The legal battle was fought between Miller and the original producer-director, Sean Cunningham, who hired Miller to write the screenplay based on Cunningham's idea.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's a very weird kind of thing. It was one person's idea, but he went, you write it, and then they wrote it, and then they had no idea who actually owned the the copyright to the IP because it was somebody else's work based on somebody else's idea, and yeah, who knows? But
Legitimately,
they
fuck
seem
knows.
to have got it all sorted out.
Is this what happened with the game though? Is that why the game had to get shut down? Or they tried to get it shut down?
It's why the game had a couple of issues for a while, yeah.
Because they're trying to figure out who owns what. So yeah, got you.
Only it was, instead of being between Miller and Cunningham, it was between Gun Media and Cunningham.
Yeah, so basically he's fighting everyone, saying yeah.
It was
So he wanting money or does he want full ownership? If you get me.
full ownership.
Oh right, okay.
Kind of like what Tim Langdell did back in the day of gaming magazines.
All right, okay.
Tim Langdell was a games journalist. He's now a vicar.
Seriously.
Yes, and
Wow.
he took everybody to court who used the word edge in anything gaming related. He had a magazine called The Edge and trademarked the word edge.
You can't trademark. That's a simple word.
That's why Soul Calibur is called Soul Calibur.
Oh yeah.
In Japan, the first game is called Soul Edge.
I remember that.
In the UK and America, it's called Soul Blade. The second game of the series is called Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur is actually Soul Edge / Soul Blade 2.
Because I do remember we did see the Soul Edge in one of the original games I played.
Yep.
Yeah. Huh.
And there was a indie game on Android and iOS. I can't remember what it's called, but it had the word edge in it. He sued them. Anything that had edge in it.
Well, never reached WWE at least.
No. I just got you there. No.
Because he's got the Edge.
Because he's called. I mean, using that logic, you could have went after The Edge from U2.
Oh yeah.
But no.
Imagine being such a dick.
This,
like,
he no longer owns the rights to it.
the idea of it being allowed in any case
Because
is insane.
do you know who he decided to fight over the word edge?
Oh, I'm intrigued.
Electronic Arts. Mirror's Edge.
Really?
Yes.
Lee.
He fought them on that, the use of the word edge, and he's now no longer allowed to trademark the word edge. He had to relinquish the copyright of everything.
Shockingly.
Yeah. So,
But I just, of all the words, I mean, edge.
yeah. Oh, he went absolutely bloody mental with it every time the word edge came up.
I just like the fact I had to go and find a religion to calm himself down. Fucking having a heart attack. Can't take this. Help me, God.
So, yeah. We've got no idea when this is going to be or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's no release date. It's not even definitely being made. It's just in talks about being made.
Not gonna lie, I'm more interested in the one that's mentioned at the very last bit of the story. Because that is more interesting than anything else.
Right, so Spring Hill Entertainment have several projects on the go just now, including the docuseries Shut Up and Dribble, which focuses on the political lives of NBA players, as well as feature films like Space Jam
2.
Yeah, Space Jam 2.
I'm not too sure about it at all. I'm very in the fence.
I imagine LeBron James will be replacing Michael Jordan in that movie.
Yeah, so to be fair, Jordan was a bit old at that point as well.
Yeah, that too.
It's. Can you really do a sequel to it though? Like, what can you really
maybe. I wouldn't say you could now. I think it's a bit too long since. I mean, when was Space Jam? 1999?
Or like 2000, very max. I mean,
Yeah.
It's one of those films that's of its time.
It's definitely I'm sure it's a 90s film.
I mean, I fucking love it, don't get me wrong, but
It's
even the humour? Think of the humour used back
Oh,
then,
yeah.
right? You couldn't use half of it now.
Oh, no, I know. Space Jam.
Or if you could, it'd be...
God, that makes me feel old.
Oh god, how bad?
1996.
No.
Yep.
I was 5 when it came out.
And it's classed as fantasy science fiction.
Ugh.
But yeah, Space Jam. That's what we're now talking 22 years ago.
Shh! Don't actually say it. Make me feel like you're ancient.
I was 6 when that came out.
Oh yeah, no, I was 5.
Yeah, but I'm a year older than you, so it makes me feel so much more older.
We do look a lot older. Oh, the grey hair. Oh,
I don't have grey hair.
Eventually you'll find one.
I do have a broken eye though.
Apparently.
Well, it doesn't open all the way. Like, you should see the state of it. Like, when I'm at work and I'm pure tired, I'm like, hi.
Nah, that's because you don't get enough sleep. You numpty.
It's because I'm too busy working on this.
Anyway.
Fallout New California mod has been released. We were talking about this a while ago. It is a complete total conversion mod for Fallout New Vegas. And it kind of comes out right about the right time, because Fallout 76 is just about to start its beta.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it may have already started its beta.
Some people have said they've played it, and it feels like a normal Fallout game purely because it takes so long to actually find anyone.
Yeah. But for people who would rather play
A classic game,
a solo offline game, this comes right at the right time.
Wait, is it offline?
Yeah. Well, it uses Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah.
And it completely changes everything. It's a total conversion mod. New story, new quests, new characters, new map, new everything. The only thing that's still used, maybe, is the assets. So things like character models and stuff like that.
But in different contexts.
Yeah. Obviously, there are some new assets as well, because not everything can be used again, because some of it just doesn't fit. So yeah, it's according to the developers, the mod is intended to bridge the gap between Fallout 2, Fallout 3, and Fallout New Vegas. Tell a story of what happened after the war between the New California Republic and the Enclave, from the perspective of a vault dweller raised by a rugged faction of scouts in the San Bernardino Mountains.
Wow.
Now, obviously, this some people won't know this as New California. Some people know this as Project Brazil, because for a while they changed the name to Project Brazil. Because there was a Fallout board game.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, I remember you telling me
called
about
New
this.
California.
Yeah.
But all the conflicts were sorted out behind the scenes. Both the PC mod and tabletop game are fine to go as they are.
Wait, sorry. Oh no, you finished.
The entire experience is expected to take anywhere between 6 and 30 hours, depending on how much the game you decide to explore.
Mm-hmm.
And it is said to have 13 possible endings. Now, this is I've heard a couple of reviews saying it's been really good. It's been great, and I've not actually seen any bad reviews about it so far.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do have Fallout New Vegas, you can download the mod for free at ModDB.
That's the thing. I was like, wow. So it's like complete re-rendering and shit. And
yep.
It is
7 years of work. And they're giving it away for free.
That's why modders are insane.
That's why we love modders.
Oh yeah, I love them because some of the stuff they come up with is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, for instance, my little brother was playing Fallout 4. Personally, I never got into it as much as free, but that's just because of me. But yeah, he's mentioned some of the things you can do, like simple ones, like changing the parameters of buildings, so you can go past the red zones and shit. Or is this one that I haven't yet to try? Well, he's put on, but he hasn't tried yet because he likes building. So he spends ages building. He doesn't actually explore. But there's a zombie one. So you change all of them to like zombies.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that sounds fucking awesome. Oh my god, what the hell? And just the stuff people think up, you're like, how long does this even take you? And you're like, fuck it, go on. Go ahead, do what you want.
It's the same with Skyrim. Like, I played with so many Skyrim mods. Like, for example, my favourite mod is the Really Useful Dragons mod.
Oh god, what one's it? What is it?
That's the one where it changes all the dragons into characters from Thomas the Tank Engine.
Oh, you creepy fuck. No,
here's the thing. No. Here's the thing, right? See, when you kill a dragon, you get dragon souls.
Yeah.
Any mods that I've seen, except from this, where you kill something that's meant to represent a dragon, like, for example, the macho dragon.
Oh, right, yeah.
Or if they change anything else about the dragons into other random things, they still call them dragon souls.
Oh.
This changes them all to train souls.
Whoa,
it doesn't just change the skin. it changes a lot of other things. And it's like with the Macho Dragon mod, it looks really deformed. It's it's a dragon with the skin of with the Macho Man Randy Savage skin.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the Really Useful Dragons mod, it's actually taken out the dragons and put in 3D renderings of Thomas the Tank Engine characters. And like it's really, really cool because of how much work went into it, and it's just totally free. It's so cool. I love it. Because you've got map mods, weather mods, graphics mods, and like because Skyrim is a beautiful world to explore.
Yeah,
and there's just some of these graphics mods that just tweak the lighting, tweak the color palette, just to make the colors pop a bit more in places where they need to pop a bit more, like when you're out in the countryside and like you're coming down the mountain, you see plants and stuff, the plants pop a bit more because the colours are more vibrant and the lighting is better, and just simple things like that. It's really, really cool to see. I think it's fantastic that because these things, you can't just program a lot of these in the space of an hour. You can get the base code down in an hour, and then you're spending 2 to 3 weeks getting every little detail right.
Yeah.
And then you're spending another 2 weeks tops polishing it before you then test it, and then tweak anything that needs tweaked, and then test and tweak and test and tweak and test, and rinse and repeat until it's ready to go.
I mean, like, there's two main things that come to mind. Like, just for instance, from the subtle little minor things to the grandiose ones. Like in Fallout 4, there's one where, like, naturally, if you've ever played Fallout 4, you build a settlement, but there's always going to be a little bit of detritus kicking about you can't do anything about.
Yeah.
And then there's just one that gives you a proper clean slate, and it just changes so much. Because I actually feel like, right, this is my full-on, clean, utterly pristine, ready working space. It's not got all this shit kicking about, and then it just makes it look like an actual bomb site, which obviously is, but you get my point.
Yeah.
Then you go to, like, Skyrim, and admittedly, it's a minor mod. Well, it's not a minor mod, but for me, it's just one of those mods that make you look at it and think, this just makes it look so like fucking like quaint and cool. And it's like a cartoon rendering of everything.
Yeah,
it's like takes out some of the detail, but it just makes it feel like a Disney game or some shit. And I'm just sat looking at it going, that looks so fucking cool. I don't know why I think it's so cool, but I just love the idea of it all just looking cartoonish.
Yeah, no, I think it would be great. You also get some really simple mods that probably do only take about an hour to make.
Yeah.
And some of them can be really, really fun as well. Like, because you've got the mud crabs that make the Zoidberg noises and have like a Zoidberg soundboard that it just randomly picks things to say. It's not just about enhancing the experience in the way of things like the graphical mods and things like that to make it more immersive. It's also to make the game more challenging with like the trains and stuff, because obviously the hitboxes have changed and they're smaller hitboxes, and they're bigger hitboxes mass volume wise, but surface area they're smaller, because instead of being like big wings and long bodies, they're just squares essentially. But you've also got ones to make the game hilarious, like the bears that do the Cossack dance. I've seen that one.
Fuck?
Yep, and the troll face moon.
Oh, I've heard of that one. No. Sometimes in games, you just want to look at the moon and think, hey, it's nice and pretty, I can calm down. Not look at the moon and go,
not look at the moon and go, memes. But no, you get all of these things. It's really cool to see modders doing like loads of different things for games. Like I play a game on Steam occasionally.
He's Batty Dragon, like playing occasionally,
called Euro Truck Simulator. Yes, I know. Right,
I can accept it because you're that kind of gamer.
I play with quite a few mods on that, and one of the mods I've got, right, is a really cool mod. Two of my main mods for this game. One is real world trailers, so like it uses fictional companies.
Mm-hmm.
So normally you'll go and pick up a fictional company's trailer.
Yeah.
But these ones say things like Argos, Sainsbury's, Tesco,
okay.
Lidl,
just makes it feel a bit
IKEA,
more real.
and the game trailers pack, where it's things like Aperture Labs and Abstergo.
Okay.
Real companies that aren't real world companies, but they're considered real world companies in the lore of that game.
Okay.
So Abstergo obviously is Assassin's Creed. Aperture is Portal and Half-Life. I think you've also got Maersk, which is one of the, like in GTA 5, the shipping containers.
Mm.
The blue ones say that on it.
No, see, I'd go for like gaming related ones, sort of like Stark Industries, that kind of thing.
Well, they've got ones with that in it as well.
Nice.
I think that's
Doesn't really change much,
one.
but I think it'd be cool going.
Yeah.
Stark Industries, woo.
But the weird thing is when you're driving along with one that says Coca-Cola on the side, and then you see an Arbiter Lab one going past, you've got the real world and the game world, and it replaces not every single one, but every one with a side on it. So things like the log trailers, obviously, doesn't change. Anything that's open-sided is still open-sided.
Yeah.
But anything that has company logos on the side, it replaces every single one of them with one of these mods. And you can download more and more and more mods as you go, because you can get pro mods, which it makes the map not more realistic in the way of to the point where you're essentially playing Euro Truck Simulator on Google Maps, but more realistic in the way of there are some more side roads inside towns. Towns are a bit bigger. There's a couple more kind of back road routes between them.
Mm-hmm.
Not as many as there are in real life, obviously, but it does make the map a wee bit more intricate, and it does clean up some bits of it as well. It's really when you play it with mods, it's a lot more fun than just playing it vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the same with Skyrim and Fallout, but it's not because the games are bad.
No, it's just something more.
It's because
to focus on.
It's like because I wouldn't play with any mods that change gameplay. Things like first time playing Skyrim, I wouldn't play it with any mods.
Well, yeah, you want the base idea.
Mostly because I played it on PS3, but you didn't get mods in. But like, say I played it first time on PC, and I'd waited long enough that mods were out, right?
Mm-hmm.
For example, mods I would use would be things like the ones to lighting and colors, graphics mods.
Things that enhance the experience but don't change it.
But I wouldn't do anything like more realistic companions or whatever.
I don't know, I'd maybe do that one.
Nah, I wouldn't do anything that changes the game experience in the way of how it plays, just how it looks and how it sounds, like just the ones that clean up all those things.
I suppose. However, there are two mods I'd love for like a simulator game, the truck one. But it's only two specific ones just because I think it'd be more fun. If you can make the truck look like Optimus.
Yeah, that's not one.
That'd be so cool. And two, you did say the Coca-Cola truck. Is it the Christmas one?
There is a Christmas one.
Okay, that'd be rad.
The one I've got is part of the real world truck trailers pack, so no, it's just a standard Coca-Cola truck. But the Coca-Cola Christmas truck is an option. The only thing is you can't mod into it to have the lights flashing.
I could still be happy with it. That'd be awesome.
But yes, the Christmas truck is an option.
Can you choose where you drive? Because it'd need to be in this, like a snowy place. That'd be amazing.
You can't.
Killer. But still.
However, what you can do though is you can actually buy your own trailers and put your own skins on them.
All right.
So you could do that, and then if you've got the Scandinavia expansion, because it only came with so much of Europe in the map because of memory constraints at the time of publishing the game.
Mm-hmm.
So now you've got Viva la France, Going East, Italia, Scandinavia, and they've got a new one coming out. I think it's called Beyond the Baltic.
All right, okay, cool.
So Going East expands the maps in the kind of Eastern Bloc.
Mm-hmm.
So your kind of former Soviet countries, Russia, Poland, Ukraine, Hungary, and places like that. Scandinavia adds Denmark, Norway, Finland, and Sweden. Vive la France obviously adds France. Italia obviously adds Italy, and Beyond the Baltic continues on with going east, but it's more southern. So like you're looking more Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, kind of down the south of the Eastern Bloc.
Yeah, okay, okay.
And yet you can get that. You can also get weather mods where you can make rain more realistic, and you can add snow as an option. And then you could go up to Finland and drive in the snow with the Holidays Are Coming trailer.
That'd be amazing.
Although I would have to say, if anyone ever used that mod, had that truck and started and was like, say that there are some people out there that stream games like that, and they get a fair amount of followers, because a lot of people there is a fair sized group of people that like that kind of game. They would have to play the Holidays Are Coming song.
Oh, definitely.
They would have to play the song from the advert.
Halo 5 don't do it now. Have you seen the latest Coca-Cola advert? The diet one for exotic mango.
Exotic mango?
Oh, maybe you don't try it. Don't try it. I only got it because I thought...
Well, I don't like mango anyway, so...
No, it doesn't taste like Coca-Cola. It's not like a little hint, like, the cherry one, it's a hint with your Coke. Then the vanilla one, it's like a hint of vanilla with your Coke. This one tastes like mango with no fucking Coke. You're like... No.
What I really like is I went to Burger King in the town. Now they've got these new machines there, where you can add flavorings.
Ooh.
So like in the old dispensers that they've still got in the one up the road from us at the shopping centre, right? You put the cup against and it just pours, right?
Yeah.
The one in the St Enoch Centre in Glasgow, right? You walk up, you put your cup down, it's all on a touchpad. You press what drink you want. So you've got Coke, Diet Coke, Coke Zero, Fanta, Sprite, Dr. Pepper, Gatorade, and Oasis.
Gatorade?
No, not Gatorade. The other one, Powerade.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Same thing.
No, it's not.
It is.
Even, no.
Gatorade's just the American branding for it.
Shush. But the Powerade, though? I've never heard of that being the dispensed one. That's
it's because it's a Coca-Cola brand anyway.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Wait,
so
can you add flavorings to Powerade?
Yeah, it's orange Powerade, but you can add other flavorings to it, like lemon and lime to just make citrus Powerade.
Fair enough.
So what you do is you pick the drink you want, and obviously if it's got so it's like Coke, like I said, Coke, Fanta, Powerade, Dr. Pepper and Sprite. If they have zero or diet versions, they're also there on the screen. So they're all like just kind of laying about on the screen. You also you can also just do water, by the way.
I don't know if I'd want water from a vending machine in all honesty.
It's like soda water.
No.
And then when you click it, it gives you the option of flavorings to add to it. So lemon, lime, cherry, vanilla, orange, strawberry.
Strawberry Coke. Wow.
It's not nice.
You're like, I should try everything in a pot.
No. I get the same thing every time.
Going on.
I take the thing. Put Coke, proper Coke.
Yeah.
Lime, fill it halfway. Proper Coke, lemon, fill it halfway. Coke with lemon and lime.
Huh. No, I think what I'd do if I was in there, probably fill it with Coke, probably 2/3 of the way, then a mixture of vanilla and strawberry. That sounds insane. I want to try that. That's St Enoch's, yeah?
Yeah.
Next time, man.
Yeah, I think you also get it at like Brayhead, Silverburn, and a couple of like just random Burger King franchises in the town. But you don't get the one in Bishopbriggs up the road from us because
Well, it's Bishy.
Yeah. Well, they might have it now. It's been
been a while.
It's 4 months since I've been there, so
maybe not then.
I doubt it, but they might.
Pay extra for those flavorings, yeah?
No.
Seriously?
Same price. Because you pay 99 pence for a regular drink, and then you dispense it yourself.
Wow. No, it's getting checked out. That sounds awesome. In
But
many
yeah,
ways.
it's in the cinemas. I think they've actually got one in Cineworld as well.
Ooh.
In Glasgow on Renfrew Street, the one across from Buchanan bus station.
Yeah. Huh.
But here's the catch.
Here we go.
You need to be going VIP to use it,
Oh, can't be fucked with.
which is £29 a ticket, and it's worth it. All you can 45. You get in 45 minutes before the movie.
Mm-hmm.
All you can eat buffet. Free juice, free coffee, free tea, free water. Only thing you have to pay for is alcohol.
Yeah. I wouldn't
Well,
pay for
only
alcohol.
thing you have to pay on top is alcohol.
Yeah.
Unlimited free cinema snacks.
That's tempting, not gonna lie.
And when you get into the movie, nice big red leather recliners, which is not like the recliner I've got in my living room where you pull a lever. Oh no, it's got a wee tablet on it where you can move the legs and the head bit independently of each other and get it right to your comfort. And it's got a wee table you can swing round and put all your cinema snacks and drinks on.
Why must the cinema be so fucking expensive? Oh my god.
And yeah, that's 20. Was it £27 all in per person?
Mm-hmm.
For a 2D movie. 3D movie is a wee bit extra, and that's only paying. I think that's only paying for the 3D glasses, which is an extra £3, taking it up to around 30.
I don't even like 3D that much, in all honesty. I don't get the...
I don't pay for 3D glasses. I've got enough pairs as it is.
Yeah, I end up keeping them, and you're like, when am I going to use this again? Probably never, but oh well.
Oh, that's exactly what I do. I'm probably never going to use them again, but I better keep them in case I go again, because I don't want to be buying 3D glasses every single time I go to the cinema if I go and see 3D movies.
Yeah, but then naturally you forget, and then you come home with no pair, and you're like...
Yeah, I legitimately at one point had a wee box. Like, this is how often I went to see 3D movies. Some of the folk I went to college with, they had the unlimited card. And we went every day.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think it was a student thing for a time. You could get half price someone going with you.
All right.
So you got in for free with your
well, thank it's not for free.
with your unlimited card, and then the person who was with you, if they were a student,
Mm-hmm.
got in half price or something like that. I can't remember.
That is really good.
And then me and one of my exes, we went every week because they had the Orange Wednesdays.
Oh god, they were
I think
the
it was
best.
Orange Wednesdays.
They were actually the best.
No, it was Orange
Yeah.
Wednesdays because it was before Meerkat Movies, which is the new version of it essentially. But yeah, we went every week. We halved in for a ticket, and the other person went for free.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't a case of 1 week they were buying it, 1 week I was buying it. We both paid for half the tickets.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really quite cool. We went there every week. We saw a fair amount of movies. By the end of all of that, I had a shoebox filled with 3D glasses. It was ridiculous. Anyway, we're well off topic. How the hell did we go into 3D glasses when we were talking about Fallout?
We keep doing that. What time are we on now?
Oh, we're nearly 3 hours.
I'm not even halfway done.
Yay. Good Old Games, also known as GOG.com.
So, sorry, say that name again?
Good Old Games.
No, I'm kind of looking at it going, what the fuck does that mean? It's a GOG. GOG. Okay, fair
Good Old Games.
Yeah,
Their Twitter account posts a transphobic pun and then deletes it.
Do we have a pun?
Right, so at the moment, right, I'm gonna. I don't want to get into politics here, but I'm going to have to.
Mm-hmm.
So the Trump administration at the moment are looking at changing the definition of sex under Title 9 of the Education Amendments Act of 1972, which at the moment, when it asks you what your sex is on a form, male, female, other.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking to narrow that down, so it's just male, female. And
Okay.
so now the transgender community in America are, not just transgender, LGBT community in
Mhm.
general are using the hashtag won't be erased, which is fine. You know what? I'm not big on hashtags. I use hashtags a fair amount, to be fair, but I'm not big on hashtags. But if you're going to use them for something good.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, Good Old Games jumped into the fray with a tweet that stated, "Classic PC games hashtag won't be erased on our watch." Yeah, how's that for some use of hashtags? Yeah. In a statement on Twitter, representatives of Good Old Games later said that the tweet was simply a bad pun.
Is that even a pun? Like a shitty statement.
Well, Good Old Games are an online game retailer known for their stance against DRM.
Okay.
And their reason for that is about preservation of historical games, because most of the games they have are things like the old Wolfenstein, the old Doom, Quake,
Okay.
Duke Nukem, older games which are no longer available on modern formats,
Mhm.
so they release digital versions of them.
Okay.
So classic games won't be erased. They won't be lost to time.
Mhm.
Using obviously that hashtag. Yesterday the representative said later that day, "Yesterday we posted a tweet containing a trending hashtag as a pun. The tweet was neither intended to be a malicious attack nor comment on the ongoing social debate. Good Old Games should focus only on games. We acknowledge that and we commit to that." Now, this happened this is something that we actually didn't cover a couple of months back. But Good Old Games Twitter got into another similar incident when they posted an image of a tombstone reading "R.I.P. Games Journalism." The cause of death on the fictional tombstone was listed as suicide, and the date given was the 28th of August, 2014. Now, does that date ring a bell to you in the world of gaming?
Only because I just read the next paragraph. Not gonna lie.
Fair enough. That's the beginning of Gamergate. Everybody loves a bit of game. No, we all hate Gamergate.
Legitimately never heard of it before until I read that. I can see
Really?
why. I know, seriously.
Wow.
Or even if it did read about it, it's that far back. I'm kind of
Yeah, well, that was 4 years ago.
yeah. Apparently.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I'm
And what the hell, really?
as a gamer, I'm disappointed in Gamergate.
Like,
Just disappointed it existed. Exists.
I don't
Existed.
even get the point. I mean, like, just fucking play a game and shut up.
Yeah, well, I mean, the problem is, apparently, according to Gamergate, there shouldn't be people of colour or women or people of alternative lifestyles within gaming. Apparently, it's just for white males. Apparently.
That's insane. Some of the best characters come from all those places.
Yeah.
Those demographics.
No, I'm totally against Gamergate. It's ridiculous. Like,
It doesn't really make sense.
yeah. But no, they've been credited with supporting the Trump campaign and Trump's administration. It's ridiculous.
Really?
So yeah, it's worth noting though, Good Old Games' sister company is CD Projekt Red, who obviously are working on Cyberpunk, which deals with issues of transhumanism, which in the futuristic setting that it's in would probably be comparable to being transgender. Maybe. I don't know.
I can see a similarity as opposed to any assumptions.
I mean, obviously, I don't know for sure because A, I'm not transgender, and B, we don't live in a time where transhumanism exists.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Well, I suppose
Possibly.
I suppose the argument here would be the idea of pushing barriers.
Yeah.
In the game, it's going to be cybernetics. In real life, it's gender.
Yeah.
So I can see the correlation, but I wouldn't say it's direct. It's very different ideas.
Well, CD Projekt Red did offer a statement on their Twitter account saying, sorry to all those offended by one of the responses set out from our account earlier. Harming anyone was never our intention.
I hate when they say that. Clearly it was someone's intention to harm.
No, I mean, sometimes, like, I do it often enough myself, right, where I don't mean to be hurtful, I don't mean to be rude or politically incorrect, but I'll just say something that is just stupid as all hell.
Okay, put it this way, right? Like, everyone's the same. Everyone has slips of tongue. Everyone just doesn't think through what we're saying.
Yeah.
But it's one thing to do it verbally, because it's it's that quick. Mind to mouth takes a couple of seconds. Boom, it's gone. You can't do anything about it. However, for you to sit down at a keyboard, type something out, see you're typing it, think, do I want to send this?
I'm going to use an example here, which I used when I was talking about this with my sister earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there is a cultural difference here, though.
Okay.
Because obviously, like, where are these from? They're Polish, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is an American hashtag about an American social issue.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Polish company
based
in Poland.
Yeah.
There was another American hashtag talking about domestic violence called Why I Stayed.
Okay.
And it was survivors of domestic abuse talking about why they stayed with their abusive partner despite the fact they were being abused. Right?
Yeah, okay. Following so far.
And a pizza company.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes. From Italy this time. Used this American hashtag Why I Stayed. And they put on Twitter, hashtag Why I Stayed because you had pizza. Yeah. It didn't look good. But it's a cultural divide. You know, these are hashtags that are being used primarily in America for a specific reason, but a lot of the times people see these hashtags, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the time they'll get used in things like they'll just be just the hashtag or the hashtag and like for the Why I Stayed hashtag and the reason. They don't because Twitter is 140 characters or less.
Yeah.
There's not exactly the space to explain why you're using the hashtag, so people don't always look into what the hashtag means. They just see a hashtag, go, that looks good, I'll use that. You know, so it's not really, they're not sitting there trying to hurt anyone, and the fact that they're typing it out instead of verbally saying it it doesn't really make a difference because they're using a hashtag that they are seeing trending and they're not researching it. They're just going, okay, we know exactly the best use for that right now and went with it instead of going, I wonder what it means. Do you get what I'm saying?
Nah,
I mean,
fair point.
They didn't do it to harm anyone. They probably didn't even know what the hashtag was about. They just thought that suits kind of one of the things that we're doing just by reading what the hashtag itself says.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll use that, you know. But then again, I don't work for Good Old Games, so I can't say that is definitely not the case. But I'd like to think that that's what happened. They didn't know what the hashtag was about. They didn't look into it, and they used it because it kind of works for what they stand for, like classic video games not getting lost to time. You know, they're not getting erased off the planet because of getting lost to time. So I like to think that I like to be optimistic about that. For all we know, it could have just been someone being an absolute dick. But we don't know. We're continuing on. Back to Battlefield 5.
There we go.
Battlefield 5's Battle Royale mode will not be launching until spring 2019.
Well, that's when they decided to call it War.
It's called Tides of War.
I said it ages ago.
No, it's not. It's not called Tides of War.
Oh, you bastard! You know it should be called.
It's called Firestorm.
The fuck. No, it should be called War. Just War, because it makes sense. It's not Battle Royale. It's War. EA
and DICE have laid out post-launch timeline for Battlefield 5. It includes Firestorm not launching until 2019. The mod's release window starts in March, according to timeline, with no further specifics being given. So we've got a quote here: during spring, DICE and Criterion start the fire with Battlefield 5's Battle Royale experience. An experience that elevates the Battle Royale genre by bringing the best of what Battlefield is known for. This was said in early September by Jonas Elfving, who works for DICE. In a trailer in early September, EA said the mode would offer 64-person action across 16 4-player squads, along with vehicles and fully destructible buildings.
Nice.
Tides of War itself, EA's name for Battlefield 5's post-launch live updates, will kick off 2 weeks after the game is out, with the first chapter coming early December. Overture brings the Panzerstorm map, where the German mechanized war machine plunges into Belgium, smashing into Allied defensive forces. Elving writes, on this tank-focused arena, you'll roll across ridges, ditches, and elevated roads with a massive force of armour, carving a path of destruction through the countrysides. Elving continues on to say that during this period we will add initial iteration of the practice range to Battlefield 5, a seat of learning or just messing around. This area will contain trials to work on your shooting, driving and flying based on the Hamada map. This is an environment that can't kill you until someone finds the friendly fire button.
What?
Yeah. There is going to be more additional single player content coming as well, in the form of a war story called The Last Tiger, along with vehicle customization and the aforementioned practice mode. Co-op mode called Combined Arms will launch between January and March 2019, along with 2 new takes on the classic Battlefield game modes Rush and Squad Conquest. Updates and improvements will be released throughout the entire schedule, as will weekly events and rewards. All of this content is going to be free to players who purchase Battlefield. EA won't be offering a season pass or charging extra for future modes or maps. There will be some cosmetics on sale, obviously.
Standard.
Just customization stuff. But little has been announced about the game's premium currency. Good news for Pokemon fan players.
This is one of the things that might make me play it again, not gonna lie.
Good news for Pokemon Go players is that you no longer have to have Pokemon Go active.
Because it drains your battery.
It does. Especially if you have an iPhone.
Yeah, well, fuck you. Android.
And I actually bought a charging case. It's a case with a built-in charger. Yet I've used it that much because playing Pokemon Go drains the battery that bad that the battery pack no longer actually has a charge anymore. It no longer holds a charge. Well, it does hold a charge, but I charge it up to 100%, and when I switch it on, it lasts 10 minutes. It used to last 6 hours.
Yeah, you fucked it.
Yeah. I've used it that much. It's now this new feature is called Adventure Sync, and it will continue to track the walking distance of the game without having the game active or having a Pokemon Go Plus tracker on.
All right.
So you can use this for hatching eggs or collecting Pokemon Buddy Candy. They allow you to, this can be idle or just straight up closed. You can open the app and then suspend it, which doesn't drain your battery, I think.
Yeah.
Or it drains your battery a lot less, at least. Or you can just not even bother opening it, which is not only good for batteries, keeping your battery alive, but phone data.
Okay.
Adventure Sync uses iOS Health Kit and Android Google Fit apps to log your walking distances. It will also offer additional data to players about their exercise levels. Each week, the feature will provide a summary of how far players have walked over the course of a week, broken down into calories and steps. And that information is then sent over to Pokemon Go so that players' physical activity can have a direct effect on their mobile game.
Okay.
They'll also unlock rewards based on how much they've moved throughout a 7-day period. Niantic CEO John Hanke wrote in a blog that Adventure Sync won't be exclusive to Pokemon Go. It's a real world platform that the company plans to integrate into its other projects as well. Now, that would probably be something like Ingress, the game that this was built upon, and there are other games that Niantic are making that are licensed that are built upon the Ingress engine.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they were at one point talking about a Digimon one.
Nice.
But I don't think anyone will really play that.
Get fucked.
Pokemon Go is much more popular.
Yeah, but Digimon's better.
It doesn't matter. You'll be the only person playing Digimon.
I fucking love it.
You'll have all the whatever they're going to be called in Digimon, the gyms or portals or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I'll be quite happy with it.
And then you'll never get any experience from using them because you'll be the only one with any even plays the game here.
Yeah, probably.
It'll be kind of boring for you.
Nah, I'll be happy.
Anyway, 47% of trainers indicated that they felt their physical activity level had increased since playing, and the same number felt that playing Pokemon Go helped them connect with others. This type of response from the community reinforces our commitment not only to create innovative real-world games, but also invest in features like Adventure Sync, which provides gentle but effective motion loop that encourages people to get outside and active every day.
Yeah, makes sense.
So this is not yet active.
It's basically
going. It's going to become active sometime in the coming weeks. But if you do play Pokemon Go, don't stop walking around yet. Just keep on going. Mostly because there's the Ghost event on just now, and you can get, if you find enough people to do the raids with, you can get the legendary Pokemon Giratina up until I think this Saturday after Halloween.
No, not bad.
So yeah, I need to kind of get my get folk out to do some of them, because I think most of the other people in my group have one except for me. So I'm kind of gutted there. Team Sonic Racing is delayed to spring 2019.
Is that still going on? Seriously?
Yes.
I'm surprised.
It won't arrive until May 21st, 2019.
Oh no.
The only new title planned, the only new title in franchise planned to have a console release that year. This year even. And it's in order to work on improving it. Yeah, it's just polish really. That's all I can really say. It's coming out on Switch, PS4, PC, and Xbox One next year.
Legitimately couldn't care less at all.
Medieval for PS4 will be a full remake. First trailer coming out tomorrow.
That's what I can care more about.
I say tomorrow. This will probably go up on Halloween, so tomorrow at the time of recording.
Or maybe if we're lucky in 20 minutes.
Yeah, no, it'll probably be in the evening.
Aww. Oh well. Still.
Why are you going, you'll be probably either here with me streaming some sort of horror game, or you'll be in your house watching the trailer anyway. You're not going out tomorrow, are you?
I'm not sure yet. Probably not.
Going out trick-or-treating at the ripe old age of 26.
27 actually. Oh god, I feel old. I might just sleep and watch horror movies.
So PlayStation fans are going to get a first look at Medieval on PS4 tomorrow. According to Sean Layden, the chairman of Sony Interactive Entertainment Worldwide Studios. The first trailer will drop, obviously, tomorrow. Layden also clarified appearing on this week's PlayStation Blogcast podcast.
All right.
Yes, that's a hell of a name to get out, isn't it, at times?
That sounds kind of painful.
That the game will be a full remake, not simply a remaster. Layden originally described the new Medieval as a full remaster for the PS4 when he announced the title at the PlayStation Experience 2017. No.
Or he lied.
No, they changed the plans after he'd announced it.
What? Tit.
This is a remake. We have taken the original game design, we've taken a lot of the key art and some of the other attributes of the game design and ethos, if you will, and we are working with a developer called Other Ocean Interactive. They are remaking Medieval in that design, the original Medieval from PS1, the one that I worked on. Other Ocean Interactive developed iDarb and Giant Cop and is known for its co-development work in porting games like Minecraft, Stacking, and Super Time Force for non-native platforms, which is not any platform it's not originally built for.
Yeah, fair enough.
So we're working with some of the talent that were originally associated with the title 20 years ago now, so we're making sure that we're keeping it real or keeping it to the original intent of the creators. Layden said, "It's sweet." Obviously, for anyone who doesn't know Medieval, it's a hack and slash adventure starring undead knights or Daniel Fortescue. And yeah, it was fantastic. Released in 1998, and it was the mascot that should have been.
Do you reckon it'll still have the noise it makes when he jumps? You know, he jumps, his body lands first and the head pops. It's like pop, 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 pop.
I would like that. I would like to see that, yeah.
You hear that? Hear that?
Yeah. But there was also the animation as well with it. And didn't his armor squeak when he done the like heavy sword attack?
When he squeaked, it was just really well done.
When like just basically from the waist up, he just like done like a 360 and just threw his sword around, and like from the waist down, it just planted normally. Didn't his armor squeak as he done that as well?
I'm not gonna lie. Unfortunately, I never actually completed it. I could never get past the corn level. Didn't get what the fuck to do.
I think I was roughly about the same area. I may have been a little bit ahead or behind. I can't remember, but I did get stuck at a bit and could not continue on.
I just didn't get it. And obviously at that time there's no like game websites or anything, so you're like, well, fuck.
yeah, no, I know. We were talking about survival horror earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
And we mentioned one of the big daddies of survival horror, Resident Evil. Well, Resi 4, the original Resident Evil, and Resident Evil 0 are all headed to the Switch.
Alright.
Because why not?
Because it's getting born.
So some of the greatest Resident Evil games coming to Nintendo Switch. Capcom announced Friday there on Twitter, Resident Evil 0, and Resident Evil 4 will all be available on 2019. When are they coming? Not a clue. Which version are available? Probably the HD remasters, but Capcom hasn't said anything. Publisher said it will provide more info soon, but all we know is that it's just those three. Resident Evil 7 Biohazard was recently available on the Switch in Japan as a kind of sort of streaming service. So we know it can play Resi 7.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably not powerful enough to play it just straight up on the console installed, but you could probably stream it because it's not processing everything at once. Something else is processing it and sending it. They also tried that with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. They tried that on the Switch over in Japan, streaming it there. But yeah, I mean, Capcom has released each of these three games multiple times over. You had it on the GameCube. It's already available on PS4 and Xbox One. Remasters, as are, Resident Evil 0 and Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 is actually playable on a Brazilian console called the Zibo, which was an educational tool, which was a console that was built as an educational tool, and it was only available in two markets, Brazil and Mexico.
Okay.
And it wasn't particularly powerful. It wasn't the greatest console out there, but it was fairly decent. Yes, that looks like it.
That looks horrifying.
It was 120, if memory serves, 120 Brazilian reals to buy, which I don't know the conversion for that to dollars or pounds.
It's like one of the controllers is literally a boomerang.
Yep.
What the hell?
Oh yeah. But anyway, that's the yes, Mark. That's the Zeebo. It's not a great console, but a lot of
It's in stock if you want it.
No, I'll pass. I'll be all right.
Somehow.
A lot of developers actually seen big things for it because there wasn't really much of a video games market in Brazil when that was released.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they didn't really have a lot of PlayStations or Xboxes or PCs because the economy wasn't quite there for having video game consoles until that came along. So they developed a lot of games for that and ported a lot of games to it.
Yeah.
Capcom, Disney, Konami, EA, Activision, Ubisoft. So yeah, there was a lot of big developers actually supporting this console in Japan and Mexico, Brazil and Mexico, because in those countries at the time there wasn't a big video game market, but there was this one console that they could all just port to. So it was pretty cool to see the start of the video game market in Brazil through this one device that everybody then supported, and then they then had video game consoles appearing here and there. Obviously, like with the economic state of Brazil not being the most stable, not a lot of video game consoles are actually sold there, but there are more than there used to be, and you do get a fair amount of like Chinese style. It's like it looks like a PlayStation, but then when you press the lid button, it's actually a Mega Drive or an NES or something.
Oh, right, okay.
You get a fair amount of them in Brazil, because obviously the market's growing, so it is just the kind of cheap ones that are going there just now mostly. But you do get the occasional PlayStation and Xbox there as well.
All right.
Talking about
Xbox.
I was going to say growing gaming markets.
Okay, that works better.
Xbox Game Pass is going to come to PC eventually, says the Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella. Whether it's first-party games or third-party games, we are best in class in that monetization, and that's what's reflected in results. Satya Nadella said during the company's quarterly earnings call, so given that structural position, we are going to make sure that we keep increasing the strength of the community. Obviously, bringing Game Pass to even the PC is going to be a big element of that. Now, Game Pass is already available to Windows 10 users, technically, if they stream games to their PC from the Xbox One using the Xbox app for Windows 10.
All right.
Nadella didn't give any sort of timeline or details about how Game Pass will be integrated to the PC. Obviously, it's a subscription service giving players access to an expanding library of hundreds of games for a tenner a month. Sort of like a Netflix of video games.
All right, okay.
It's not a streaming service, though. Users download the games, play them as long as their subscription is active. And there is also an option to purchase individual titles straight up. The library comprises both Xbox One and Xbox 360 games, and they're planning to integrate it into Windows 10. And this works kind of with, I think it was called Project Scarlet, which was about streaming games to iOS and Android. And tablets and all of that. So I think this is going to be kind of a bit more cross-platform than the Project Scarlet streaming service, but it's still along those lines. Like, it is about bringing more platforms together.
Yeah, just kind of unification of like gaming things.
Yeah. In January, Microsoft promised that all Microsoft Studio published games for Xbox One would be available to Game Pass subscribers on their launch day. Nadella's statement on Wednesday would further cement Windows 10 as a launch partner with first-party Xbox One games going forward.
Not bad.
The Library of Congress in the USA
Mm-hmm.
just made it easier to play older video games and fix consoles. Now, I don't really like talking about things that don't really affect us here in the UK, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is about American law. However, this one does actually affect us because while DMCA, Digital Millennium Copyright Act, is an American law, it actually affects every country in the world.
Okay.
Do you remember a site called the Pirate Bay?
Yes.
Well, that is a Swedish website. Was a Swedish website that got shut down because of an American law.
Mm-hmm.
So this law reaches internationally. It's more of an international law than an American law, but it was started by the Americans. It was never officially enforced outside of the US,
Mm-hmm.
but it does affect all of us outside of the US as well. So I thought it was interesting to talk about, because obviously part of the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, DMCA, is one thing that's come out of that is DRM,
Mm-hmm.
Digital Rights Management, and it's talking about every 3 years they're going to compile a list
Mm-hmm.
of exceptions to DMCA every 3 years.
Okay.
And this is great for folk who, well, not just folk like myself who like to play classic video games,
Mm-hmm.
but for, like, do you remember the Strong Museum in Rochester, New York, that we were talking about, that hosts the Video Game Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Where it's all about, like, they have loads of video games that aren't just in the Hall of Fame, they have a video game museum there.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives them more of an opportunity to fix older consoles so that they're usable again and have them on display but still playable, so people can see that these older games in action and see what they felt like to play.
Mm-hmm.
Also things like ROMs and stuff. It's a very weird grey area, that, because it's illegal to download it,
Yeah.
it's illegal to distribute it,
Okay.
it's completely legal to own if you already own a physical copy of that game. So, for example, Pokemon Fire Red, I own the cartridge to that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not allowed to download the ROM. I'm not allowed to distribute the ROM, but it's perfectly legal for me to own the ROM if I get my hands on it. It's a very weird thing. So, at some point, it will no longer be covered by DMCA,
Mm-hmm.
so then it would be legal to download.
Yeah.
And it's all about how it's also about, like, kind of circumventing technological measure that effectively controls access to a work. So things like DRM, and also, like, if you do, like, it's a very weird thing. I'm not properly clued up on it as much as I'd like to be, so it's really hard to talk about because I don't know what the law was like beforehand. I don't know how much it's changed. I don't know if they're just saying they're going to be making a list every 3 years or what.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully someone will know better than me, and they'll probably be able to get a hold of me on the YouTube comment section and tell me exactly what's going on here. But the law seems to be changing around it, and the next update is due out in 2021. So it does seem to be we'll get more games that are no longer covered by DMCA, which means we can then work towards preserving the history of video games, which is kind of something that's important to see. Like, maybe not for some people. Some people just want to sit down and play a video game,
Mm-hmm.
and that is it.
Yeah.
But some people like myself, I really like the history and speculating about the future of video games. So being able to see where video games came from and how they've evolved over the years, and then maybe even extrapolate from that where we're going next. It's really important because you can't predict the future without knowing the past, you know? Because predicting the future is all about extrapolating from the past. So it really makes sense that we see more and more older games become preserved in museums and things like that, or in a archive online where you can download the ROM and play it and learn about it. And maybe it's just me though.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say it's just you, but damn, trying to stay awake.
Am I boring you that much?
No, I'm just that tired.
No, it's just because it's 1:05 in five past midnight.
And we've been at it how long?
Nearly just over 3 hours. We're near the end though. We're near the end.
Okay. All right, okay, let's
We
keep
can
going.
smash through the next two. Then the last one will maybe take a wee bit longer.
Or we might leave it because it could be a while. Maybe put it on. Nah, we'll just do it. Never mind.
No.
Yeah, we'll just do it. Okay,
Right.
let's go. Okay.
Soul Calibur 6 has the season pass coming out,
Nice.
and the new guest character for the season pass has been revealed, and it is to be from Nier Automata, or the full character's name, Yorha number 2 Type B. So they're going to use the dual blades from the game, Virtuous Contract and Virtuous Treaty, and many of the combat skills from Nier Automata, as well as they have their own stage music, and the trailer came out just a couple of days ago.
Then you got your grow in the arena as well. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Actually.
So there are going to be 2 more guest characters, and they're going to be released as DLC as part of the season pass as time goes on.
So that means what? It's Geralt and Tibi so far.
Geralt and 2B, and you've got 2 more.
Oh, cool.
Pokemon Go players can get Shedinja in the upcoming bug type event.
Okay, just back one. I did hear somewhere apparently Cloud was going to be in it, or has he been in it?
That might be Smash Bros.
Yep, sorry, Smash Bros. Cause I'm just trying to think. Or
Smash Ultimate, because
Yeah, okay.
every character that's ever been in a Smash game is in Smash Ultimate.
No, because I've seen somewhere that there's like 3 different Final Fantasy characters were in fighting games. So I know it was Noctis is in
Tekken.
Cloud's in one.
Cloud is in Smash Ultimate.
Okay. And I'm sure there's a third one and spacing.
Then the rest of them were all in Dissidia Final Fantasy.
No, it was it's a standalone.
I don't know what the other one is.
If I find it again, I'll show you. Yeah, sorry.
Pokemon Go players are getting Shedinja in an upcoming bug type event. Pokemon Go is celebrating its roots in November because before Pokemon existed, kids in Japan would go out and collect bugs.
Mm.
And then as industrialization and they built more and more houses for people, that died out because there was less nature to do that in. So Pokemon Go was invented. Now Shedinja will be a reward for completing field research challenges through the month of November. However, in the games, it was really, really weird, really difficult to get Shedinja in the games because you had to have everything just right. You didn't have to have everything just right, just one thing. So you could only get Shedinja if you involved Ninkada into Ninjask and had a Pokeball in your inventory and a empty space in your party.
All right, okay.
Because when Ninkada evolves into Ninjask, the exoskeleton is Shedinja. It has 1 HP. However, it has a thing called Wonder Guard, where only moves that would be super effective cause any damage. So if it's not very effective, neutral, or not effective at all, it does nothing. Which is weird. I'm saying that's weird. This is a series with sentient keys, ice cream, and trash.
And Jinx. Because Jinx is always weird.
And Mr. Mime.
Jinx is weirder.
Anyway.
However, I have seen a weird picture of Mr. Mime that makes me question everything in Pokemon. It's one of those ones where from the TV show where it's just a still from one episode, and it shows Ash's mom feeding the Pokemon. So you get like kind of two little Pokemon, like pet variety. I mean, just sizes. But then you get Mr. Mime, and you're like, dude's man-sized. And he sat down on the floor, picking up little bits of food from this little pet dish, and you're like, that feels wrong. There's like a seat right there you could sit on with a plate.
Yep.
Ugh. No.
So yeah. And finally, the big news of the fortnight, as Sony has revealed the PlayStation Classic game lineup. So we were already told when they announced the PlayStation Classic, 5 of the games we were going to get: Wild Arms, Tekken 3,
nice.
Ridge Racer Type 4, Jumping Flash, and Final Fantasy 7.
Because that's everywhere.
So that was the 5 games we knew we were going to get. So we're waiting to hear the next 15 games. Now, the list is the list for the North America. So there's going to be a different one for Europe and a different one for Japan. But I could only find the one for North America.
Cool, because some of these I don't like, so I'm hoping
some of these are likely going to change.
Good.
So we're going to get Battle Arena Toshinden.
Never played it.
Never heard of it.
No.
Cool Borders 2.
I hope they drop that and give us Tony Hawk. That'd be amazing.
Maybe.
Tony
I
Hawk.
remember Cool Borders, and it was really,
I
really
remember
fun.
it as well, but for Tony Hawk.
Destruction Derby.
No.
Do you not remember it?
Maybe. Well, maybe.
It's you're in a. It's a racing game.
Yeah.
Like Burnout.
Mm-hmm.
But you also get ones where it's in like a kind of bowl.
Okay.
And it's like Battle Royale, but cars. Last Man Standing.
No. Can't remember.
You crash other cars until they no longer work, and it's about being the last person with a car still working.
Can't remember, man.
Final Fantasy 7, which we already knew about.
Needs to always be there.
The original Grand Theft Auto.
That's a top-down one.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds pretty cool.
Grand Theft Auto, Grand Theft Auto 2, and Grand Theft Auto London 1966 are all top-down.
There's
Grand Theft Auto.
London.
Yep. Grand Theft Auto 3 was the first 3D Grand Theft Auto.
I'm more surprised there's a London version. Fuck.
Intelligent Cube.
No.
I've not heard of that one. Jumping Flash,
No.
which I've never heard of. The original Metal Gear Solid.
Is that the one I've heard
The first
of?
one.
Yeah, they have that weird boss that you have to swap controllers around.
Or
is that?
yes. No.
Because imagine they'd have to tweak that.
That's
fight.
MGS2, I think.
Okay, you still need to tweak that fight scene, surely.
Hold a sec. I will double check.
I can never play out Metal Gear because I just find it really. It's not my type of game. Not to cry it, but I hate stealth games in all their forms.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, do you know what? I think so, yes. Let me just double check. The character was called Psycho Mantis.
Yes.
And main appearances Metal Gear Solid, yeah. Psycho Mantis is Metal Gear Solid, so yeah. This is...
Yeah, I'd imagine you'd have to have tweaked that fight scene in, or why is this going to be a bit...
No, because it's got ports on it.
Oh, fair point. Yeah, okay, cool. No,
It's just they won't be able to read your memory card.
Because it's all internal. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
sound.
Mr. Driller.
That sounds suggestive.
I don't remember that one.
Nope.
Oddworld, Zabe's Odyssey.
Definitely.
Who doesn't love a bit of Zabe's Odyssey? Rayman, the original Rayman.
No.
Yes.
I hated Rayman.
I loved it.
The mate was pure into it, not you. And no.
The director's cut of the first Resident Evil.
That might be pretty rad, not going to lie.
Revelations Persona.
Is that the original Persona game?
Yes.
Okay, that might be decent.
That's before it was Shin Megami Tensei.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'd try that.
Ridge Racer Type 4, which again was
Just racing.
pre-announced.
Yeah, okay.
Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. It is a puzzle game based on Street Fighter 2 Turbo.
No.
Yes. It's like a match 3 game, I think, if I remember correctly.
I thought they were quite new, actually.
No, they're quite old.
Wow.
Siphon Filter,
Right,
which was a shooter game, if I remember correctly.
Is it not a spy game? No?
Yeah, a spy shooter game.
Okay. Okay, cool, yeah.
Tekken 3, which we already know about.
Fucking classic.
Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six.
Is that on...
Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six. Tom Clancy's
No, I was thinking of...
Splinter
I was
Cell.
thinking of Red Alert. That's what's confusing me. I was thinking of the army game. Yeah, okay,
No.
cool.
Rainbow Six. It's part of the series with Splinter Cell and Rainbow Six Siege and all of that.
Cool.
Twisted Metal.
That's that mental racing game, yeah?
Yeah.
It's like, I was a mental shoot 'em up.
I don't know.
The one with Handsome Jack.
Oh, Borderlands.
Yeah, so it's like Borderlands and cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
And Wild Arms. Fantastic JRPG.
Just...
Wild Arms.
Okay, I read that as something else. What's the one where you turn into... It's a fighting game, you turn into animals.
Killer Instinct.
That doesn't sound right.
No, Wild Arms is definitely a JRPG. Definitely. Surely. Here we go. I love how we both get our phones out to Google this.
Well, you're looking for your one, I'm looking for mine.
Wild Arms consists of several Western-themed role-playing games and related media. Right, the series has been largely... No,
wait, where is? What is this? Oh, I was thinking of Bloody Roar.
right.
Gotcha.
No, this is... and I was wrong, it's not actually a JRPG, it's a Western RPG
How?
with a JRPG look.
Oh, Jack. Oh, you got that wrong.
God, man, I can't believe I got that wrong.
That's terrible, Jack.
It's a very JRPG style game, and it is set in the Wild West. Yep. So Sony plans to launch the PlayStation Classic worldwide December 3rd, 24th anniversary of the PlayStation's release.
Wow.
Yes, that launched 24 years ago, everybody.
Dying inside.
Makes me feel old. The retro console will retail for £100, well, £90 in the UK, $100 in the US, €100 in Europe, and 9,980 yen in Japan.
What the fuck?
Just in time for Christmas.
Oh, Jesus.
I want that to be my Christmas present.
Not from me.
So I think that's all from us today.
I fucking hope
because
so.
that's midnight.
I'm going the fuck home.
However, our next topic
Oh, we got that up already?
will be what games we would have liked to have seen instead.
That's a good one.
We will pick 20 games each. Pick 20 PlayStation 1 games.
Gotcha. Already got like 5 or 6 already.
You can use any that are here if you want.
No, amendment. None that are there.
No, because
you're like, oh fuck.
because there's at least 2 there that I definitely want in mine.
Free max. That's fair.
Right, you're on 3 max.
Sound.
So we will pick between 17 and 20 games that we want to see on this. And if you pick... And I think we should do picking games instead of another game. So say I would have, I don't know, Final Fantasy 8 instead of Final Fantasy 7 because it's the better Final Fantasy in my opinion.
That be relative to that.
No. If I would pick Crash Bandicoot over Battle Arena Toshinden because I like Crash Bandicoot and I have no idea about Battle Arena. You know,
so you don't want reasons.
Yeah, no, just where on that list you would put them.
Okay, right.
So I would say like the one you want the most at the top, one the least at the bottom, or the one you would be most excited about, least excited about, or thought of first, thought of last. The order can be in any way, but you replace each of them. The only ones that stay the same are any that you reuse. So say you pick Final Fantasy 7, it will still be in 4th position.
I'm not gonna lie. As much as I love Final Fantasy 7,
I would use it as an example.
okay, as much as I love it though, they're all getting changed.
Even Tekken?
Even Tekken,
Wow.
complete revamp.
Wow. I didn't expect that. Anyway, yes, so our topic for next fortnight is any games we would like to see replaced on that and what with. I can tell you right now, I will probably be mostly JRPGs. Or RPGs of some kind.
Hold on while I hold my shock. Like, fucking hell. We're going to give like a cut-off time for like, because I know kind of PS1 games can go on for a while. Like a cut-off year, if you know what I mean, or...
Oh, no.
No?
If it was published on the PS1, it's eligible.
Oh, okay, yeah, cool.
Like, because that just seems the way it should be.
Yeah, that's cool, yeah, that's fine.
Obviously anything on PS2 is ineligible.
Yeah, got you.
If it was something that was published on both PS1 and PS2, that's fine.
As long as it's published at some point
on the PS1.
Got you.
And it has to be an actual game published for that. Like, it can't be...
like a mod or some shit.
Yeah, like, because you did get some games for the Dreamcast that were not Dreamcast games, per se. Like, they weren't... Like, you know how you get the Nintendo seal of approval?
Yeah.
A game is not a Nintendo game unless it has Nintendo seal of approval, right? PlayStation 1 is not a PlayStation game unless it has the hologram with the PlayStation logo, right? So it has to have that on it. Okay. Like if you had the case, it would have to have that on it. So it would have to be a legitimate one. It can't be a fan-made game that was put on one that was chipped, for example.
I can actually tell I'm going to go home and literally do this tonight and just like save it. And then
I'll probably do the same.
Get reminded next week.
Yeah, I'll probably do the same. Anyway, that has been us from Gaming Kin. I hope you look forward to our lists of games for PlayStation Mini Classic.
Where you get to learn about all sorts of JRPGs of the past.
Yay! Anyway, as always, I've been Jack, and this has been Mark.
Goodbye.
And remember, there's always room for you here at Gaming Kin if you want to be our friend.
Ciao.
Stay safe out there.
Stuck in the friend zone, I'm going home alone. You went home with the rising out of the pit. I can make out a small beam of light against a mirror. What's that? There's a jet of flame springing from the mirror and it leaps right at the advancing men. It strikes them head on. Logs are turning into flames. The whole field's caught up by the woods, the barns, the gas tanks with the automobiles spreading everywhere. It's coming this way now, about 20 yards from